Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. It's been a long time since I've seen you, my friend, because all of a sudden you've got this amazing mustache. What happened?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This old thing? Why, I've had
I
this
love it.
for like all of one day. Yeah. Yeah, this is a funky thing. I did a live stream Twitch last night on Tim Riel's channel, Tim_RIEL. He does a twice weekly Codenames comedy show where he gets comedians and board game people to compete against each other. So Shay and I were on, and we were going up against two comedians. One of them, Grant Lyons, I know in real life, IRL, and he has a ridiculously bushy mustache. And I thought, well, you know what?
Yeah.
If this is what I get after about 2 weeks of not shaving, and I figured, okay, I'll try to mess with his game by by challenging him to a mustache off. So at the beginning, I said, whichever team loses, they have to lose their mustache. And then I quickly added, and please bear in mind, I'm going to shave mine off within the next day, regardless. So,
Nice.
so as Shay pointed out, it was a low stakes gamble for me. Very, very high stakes for him because it's kind of his persona now.
Yeah, yeah. Grant is hilarious. You know, I'm sort of bummed out. I missed his. He went on tour. He's
Yes.
doing a comedy tour, and he was actually in LA, which is about 45 to an hour away from me. But I really wanted to go see him, but the dates just didn't line up. But folks, if you know Grant Lyon, he is hilarious. He does great videos over on his YouTube channel, but he's an actual working comedian as well. So go check him out on tour if you can. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, especially he's working on. I mean, he's doing his regular, just traditional stand-up. What's the deal with peanuts on airplanes type stuff? He does not do that. He does.
I was gonna say, does he really do that?
I knock off Seinfeld, but he's also working on an hour-long comedy show that is 100% devoted to board games because he himself is a hardcore board gamer. I've heard a few jokes from it, and it's awesome. And so what he's doing is he's going from city to city, just doing his regular comedy club stuff. But then, if there are local gamer cafes in the area, he'll also book a stand-up there, and he's working out the kinks of that, and it's fantastic. I can't wait for him to hit the big time. I was really wishing he would be at Board Game Geek Con or Dice Tower West, and apparently he's going to be at PAX East, I think, and so you might be able to catch him there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I met him briefly at Gen Con, and he's just a super nice guy. And so you've heard some of his comedy bits already for board games. Is it stuff like, hey, what's this thing about inserts and board games and stuff? Is it along those lines, or is it like?
Well, yeah, that would be if we were doing it, but.
Okay,
he's a really good.
He
is one of the more successful working stand-up comics today. He's not doing super sold out stadium shows or anything, but he's been a successful working comic for years. He's already great. He did a recent comedy album that made, if I recall correctly, the Times bestseller downloads or something like that. So he's really really good. And so the comedy the board game stuff is not just the kind of hack stuff. It's like really you have to have a deep understanding of the workings of Catan to understand this joke. And not only that,
cool.
but Catan's place within the pantheon on board game geekdom, because he's doing board game geek focused comedy. It's really, really good.
Nice. That's great. Hey, we want to say hi to everyone in the audience. Thank you for joining us today. A couple of people know that my voice is louder than yours.
Oh, is that the case?
I don't know if you want to
yes,
check
you're on. Because you have a louder voice than Shay. I had to really pump him up. Let me go ahead and bring you down by, I don't know, 10.
I've heard that many times that I have a big mouth, so yeah, you may want to adjust that there. Thank you, friends, for noting that. Appreciate it. And that's the beauty of live streams, folks. We fix things on the fly here, as always. It's been a week. I feel like I haven't seen you in months, my friend, and not just because of the facial hair. Just you get used to the routine.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's like every week, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I missed this. So good to see everyone here.
It is great to have you back, and everybody's lucky to be here for a very good week. We have been talking about doing this top 10 of games we'll never get rid of almost since we started the show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a topic that we have had on the shelf for a little bit, and I'm not going to lie, this was tough.
Yes,
because
actually, we should actually talk about the making of when we actually start recording the show. But oh my gosh, you are right. So yeah, we'll talk about all that. But before we do that, we're in the pre-show right now, and we do have some outstanding pre-show business because let me look it up. Last week. what was it? J.W. Spiker, a regular viewer. And here he is right now. JW, we're here for you, baby.
Hey, J.
Last week, when you were, incommunicado, when you were, not AOL, WAOL, away without leave, AWOL, JW requested a Ruel Ranks. And Shane and I thought, well, we could just try to rank your stuff. But no, we're going to do that now. Right.
That would have been hilarious.
Yes,
I love that.
I'm sure you would have appreciated the help. Let's see here. So
Definitely.
let me go over to the browser. Okay, and I've already got the Ruel Gaviola game library on screen. And so, folks, for new folks who are here, and by the way, thank you, or everybody who's followed, Ziggity and Bertle Baby and Love Urfy, and Laverne Marley, and EZHZ3R0, Yes in Radio, Nesbogaj, oh my goodness, so many things I don't know how to pronounce. I'm going to call you Kusho,
Yeah, I'm glad
Gift Cake, Trinix, Omelet, Crazy Gardens, no, Dr. Brew. Okay, everybody who's just, signed up, followed within the last few minutes, thank you very much. It is appreciated. You'll notice up there at the top of the screen, we do have a goal. Once I can get to 999 followers, we will be unlocking a bonus top 10 that will be streamed live, and it'll be interesting because unlike these top 10s where it's me and Ruel figuring it out, it'll be you, the audience, helping figure it out as well. So keep those follows coming, and they do seem to keep coming. We'll say hi to everybody in a second. But we have to rank because, folks, in case you didn't know, oh man, I'm sorry, do you want, I forget, I've got a co-host. I can let you do some of it too. Tell them how they can do a request to Ruel Ranks, Ruel. Well,
yeah, you know what? So to request, is it, now I'm the co-host yet. I don't know everything here. It's been a couple of weeks, so I'm like trying to get my feet back into it here.
Yes.
Get my feet underneath me. So to get a Ruel Ranks, you have to spend bits.
No.
Or
Bits are like real world money stuff. The trick is, the longer you watch a show on the channel, the more Rahdo points start to accrue. If you look at the bottom of the chat, you will see just, every 5 minutes you watch, you'll get another 15 points or something like that. Plus, every once in a while, a little treasure chest appears. And if you click that, that's a bonus 50 because it's actually encouraging you to pay attention and not just leave us on in the background. So you can spend those points on all kinds of things by clicking the little R, the Rahdo R in the bottom right corner. And I believe 750 points gets you a Ruel Ranks. And that's what JW spent last week. He spent 750 of his very precious and completely monetarily worthless points to demand that Ruel rank something because how many games do you have again, Ruel?
I've got, last I checked was over 700. And I've only ranked a very small portion of them.
Okay. Over 700, you only have 557 in Board Game Geek. So you need to actually get another 200 of them just even listed.
No, you know what? Okay, so that number was updated. So I got rid of a bunch of games, and I was counting expansions. So without the games I got rid of recently, and without the expansions, yes, 500 something is more like it. That is correct.
557 games that have not been ranked by you, and you are going to rank one now. I think the last time we did this, we actually let the audience choose, didn't we?
We did. All right. So if anyone has any suggestions or
no, let me start a poll. All right, you see three you like, and the audience will pick. All right, so I've got the new. All right, so what to rank? And so I'll just start scrolling slowly. You tell me when you see one that you would like to talk about.
Okay, Escape Zombie City.
Okay, that's a good one. Escape Zombie City. All right, what else do you want?
Let's see, what else we got here?
Bananagrams.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do bananagrams?
What is this here? Let's do Timeline Challenge.
Timeline Challenge.
Okay. And then the final one for the choices for our friends, Star Trek Catan.
All righty, Star Trek Catan. All right, allow votes. People can vote with their bits. People can vote with their points. You have 1 minute. The poll starts now. Which one of those three folks would you like Ruel to rank? And then which, and bear in mind, after he ranks it, I will rank his ranking.
And then also chat. Let you all rank the rankings that. So we're gonna do this Inception style. I will rank. You will rank my rankings, and then the audience will rank your ranks of my rankings. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to me, but we will go with it.
We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Star Trek Catan is in the lead.
Chatters. There's a lot of first-time chatters here. Thank you,
Yes,
friends.
thanks everybody for showing up and for following and helping us get closer to the goal. Also, if you subscribe, you will unlock another RVR episode. We've figured out we're going to do the first RVR episode, if I recall correctly, the day before Thanksgiving. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the plan. Have we talked about what game yet, or is that
it
still
will be
surprise?
Rolling Realms, which, as I understand, means the audience, if they've got a copy, will be able to play along as well.
Yes, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, so if we get some more subs, our next target is basically hitting 150 or 149. It's a ways off. We'll be unlocking one of those. Plus, all right. Oh, and did Escape Zombie City win? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I was surprised. I mean, yeah, Catan had it. And so that was a desperate last ditch effort. 46% for Escape Zombie City, Star Trek Catan 43, and Timeline Challenge, nobody cares. Well, 4 people care. All right, so, Ruel, tell us about Escape Zombie City. Let me go find it again.
Escape Zombie City, folks, is it's the next iteration of Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Yep, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the first one was Escape Curse of the Temple.
A retheme, but it adds a few other elements, and I don't remember if I've ranked Escape from the Curse of the Temple, which my family loved the first Escape. Yeah. It's a real-time game. It's basically Yahtzee on steroids. You know, you're just rolling dice trying to get matching sets of stuff in order to move and reveal tiles and to move around there and get out of the temple. But in Zombie City, you've got a city where you're trying to do the same thing, but you've got the added elements of zombies that are looking to eat you, right? So it's got this frantic real-time pace to it. I enjoyed it, but here's the thing. I have a little bit of problem with this game because the zombie bit, I felt like it was a little fiddly for what it was. It added something that wasn't there in the original Escape, right? So you had to worry about the zombies, which ones you're pulling out. I think there's like different colors and stuff. It has been a while since I played this, so I'm looking at your run-through right now, and I just look at the dice, and that's what the fun is all about this game. It's rolling those dice as fast as you can, trying to match sets, and it is cooperative, so you can share dice, right?
Yeah,
help your opponents or your fellow players.
Well, basically, one of the things you can roll are results on your dice. As you're rolling as fast as you can in real time, you can get stuck. Yep. And if you're stuck and you can't re-roll anymore, you hope that somebody else nearby can get to you and start rolling the dice that will help you break out of your stuckedness. In the original Escape Curse of the Temple, it was just kind of like you're cursed. It was all very abstract. But now, no, it's really represented on board by zombies. If you move into an area with zombies, you can get trapped there, and other people have to come in and help you break free from the zombies. And you're right. That's right. The biggest change with this is the fact that in addition to everything else you're doing in the real-time 10-minute countdown, although I'm trying to remember, did this increase to 15 minutes because there was more to do? You also, when you roll dice that are the zombies have the potential to move around, and they're trying to get to us, and it's another way we can lose. And I totally understand. You were starting to say that it is extra work, and it's extra stuff to keep track of. It's like bookkeeping in a real-time game is tough. But on the other hand, unlike the original Escape, it also means that the world comes alive. The world is not just sitting there static, waiting for you to walk around. There's real threat on the board. But it does require, I mean, it's a tougher thing to handle. I mean, they try to keep the zombie rules for manipulating them really, really clean and simple, but it doesn't change the fact that, it is that you're having to do a lot more real-time bookkeeping in addition to the decision-making about gameplay.
Right. And that's why I when it came down to it, I preferred the original just because a little more static and, because there is so much going on in any kind of real-time game. I don't know, it's just, it seems like, I'm sweating enough as it is. And then now I've got to do some overhead in real time. That made it a little more difficult for me. But so here's the thing. I still like the game a lot. It's fun. These type of games, they're simpler. They're not like big crunchy Euros, obviously, but they have a lot of fun to them. And I think you put it correctly here. You put it in the best way possible. It really does bring the world to life, right? It is a world of, you're walking around, the Walking Dead are around, and you need to get away from them and escape. So when it comes down to it, what am I going to rank this? So I don't think it's good enough to be an 8. I'm looking at around the 7s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at like 7. gosh. I'm going to say a 7.25. I enjoy this game. I will gladly play it anytime. But is it the first game off my shelf? No. So I'm going to go 7.25, my final ranking for Escape Zombie City.
7 points. And you're actually updating it right now?
I will update it right now.
And we'll go and confirm.
I had problems with Board Game Geek earlier today. Was it down for anyone else? It was down for me for a while. Yeah. Like straight up, I couldn't even get to the site. Okay, okay, I'm good. Okay. So I'm ranking it right now, 7.25 in my collection. There it is, folks. Escape Zombie City.
Gone too far. Wait, I have a shortcut for the library. Here we go. So Escape, and now I'm curious. I mean, it's cool that you did this without checking. What is your regular ranking for regular Escape?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Escape Zombie City 725 versus Escape 8.5. That's a big drop. Are you going to stand by that?
I'm gonna have to re-rank the original Escape because it is not an 8.5 anymore.
What?
And again, yeah, I would bring Escape, the original one, down to 8.
Wow, what happened?
Because
that's the buried lead. What's with the drop?
Yeah, it was a game that I ranked very early on when I first got in the hobby because we loved this game. We played it a ton, and we had so much good times with it. But then, eventually you sort of move away from those games. I actually really like if I'm going to do a real-time game, I really like Fuse.
Fuse is fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more of the style of puzzle I like for a real-time game, and it's just less setup. You're just rolling dice and got a couple of cards. Whereas this, you got the tiles, you got all the other pieces. So wow, I can't believe Escape Curse of the Devil's 8.5 for me.
Apparently not anymore. Apparently it's dropping, and I am going to have to say thee nay. That is a terrible decision on your part. As you can see, I rank Escape Curse of the Temple a 9.22.
Wow.
Yes, it is in my top 20 games of all time. And it does not drop at all. I mean, it's not the top, but it's way up there. So to see it for you, 8.5, that's not entirely unreasonable. But to drop it down to an 8, you're spitting in the face of Christian Ostby, the designer. How dare you?
How dare me on live Twitch stream as well. Wow, my gosh. But here's the thing. Now that we're talking about, I want to revisit both these games. I'm not going to lie. I
think you will find that your newfound lower than low numbers are frankly incorrect. Because
so here's the thing. Do you ever do that, Rahdo? Do you ever think about these rankings that you did years ago, and then think, hey, maybe I was a little off on this particular ranking, and then do you replay the game?
Revisiting my rankings all the time because every time I play a new game, after I'm done filming it and all of that, I go you just saw rank.row.com and I rank it. And often I'm like, okay, well I definitely like it better than this game, but wait a minute, I don't like it as much as that game, which means those two games are incorrectly ranked because that should be higher than that. So I'm constantly rejigging with them because and for the most part, I am doing it just based on my recollection of having played these games 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. What I have found is, inevitably, almost every single time I get to revisit a game that I have not played for years, and I'm really struck by it again, I want to go back and bump it up a few notches. That always seems to be the case. I mean, I know most people say, it's not as good as I remember, as you just showed, and it drops down. For me, oh my gosh, this is better than I remember. But that's just a reflection of me. I'm a very excitable person.
Yeah, and I will revisit these games soon because I think about those times that we first really played Escape and we had such a great time with it. So maybe my dropping in rank is a bit premature, but we shall see when I get back to it.
I think so. I will say for the record, Escape Zombie City is the superior game. If you gave me the option, I would rather play Zombie because Jen and I, we have played a lot of Escape with all of the expansions. I mean, we have really spent many hours at 10 minutes at a time escaping. So I appreciate the extra level of, I should say, I don't mind the extra level of work, the bookkeeping. When it happens, I have to do it all. Jen doesn't pay attention. She just says, hey, spawn another zombie. So I do it for her. She says, oh, move a zombie. And I do it for her. just because my escape is just like woven into my bones. And so, as we were
Yeah.
talking about before, the fact that the world comes to life and it doesn't just sit there and it provides an actual, real, ongoing threat so elevates the game. But if your
Yeah.
eagle-eyed viewers probably noticed, I don't have it because Jen still, like you, prefers the original escape, the cleaner, more simple. Even though I do everything I can to make it easy for her, she prefers the simpler, more
Yeah.
straightforward. So, and when we moved back to the U.S. from Malta, it's just like, okay, I had hundreds of games to move back. I'd like to get rid of a couple hundred of them, and so Escape Zombie City didn't quite make it. But that's only because of Jen. For me, I would take the zombies over the curse any day of the week. And that, folks,
Now, as far as
was a Ruel Ranks.
wait, real quick, as far as theme goes, do you prefer like the Indiana Jones theme, or do you prefer the zombie theme? So I'm all about the Indiana Jones theme.
That's true. I'm not really strongly driven one way or the other. Yeah, do I really even care? I don't. I actually kind of put both of those, Tomb Raider-y type versus, Escape Zombies. They're pretty much in the same level for me, I think.
Okay.
Which shouldn't be the case because we are both of a certain age wherein we grew up with Indiana Jones and it defined our existence. I loved Indiana Jones as a kid, but I don't know. It just doesn't quite have the staying power for me. I'm very excited about Indiana Jones, what was it, 5 coming soon with...
Oh, are you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna admit I'm not that excited just because I did not like 4 at all. Like 4 was such a.
Is anybody in the chat with me that 4 was? Come on, it was not that bad. It was just a silly.
All I gotta say is
it was a live action cartoon.
He survives the nuclear explosion. Come on.
That stuff. I mean, again, you have to remember what Indiana Jones comes from is those old 20s, 30s serialized, just ridiculous, goofy things. And they were just leaning into that hard. Cate Blanchett is awesome. She is a super wonderful villainess, and it was so great to see Karen Allen again and kind of get that tied up because you always wanted Indy to get back with Marion. So I mean that was wonderful. I know some people didn't like the fact that it was literally about aliens, but the setting had moved on from the 40s into the 50s, and that was just so appropriate because 50s is the time when sci-fi really started popping up. So they said, okay, let's bring some sci-fi into it because that's the time frame we're in. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But and Stacey Everdell agrees. Kate Blanchett is always awesome.
Yeah, agreed. She's fantastic. You know what it is? It's just you set such a high standard with that first movie. It really is hard to live up to that. Some people didn't like the second one. I enjoyed the second one. I enjoyed the third one. Just the fourth one, for whatever reason, maybe I'm not that big of a fan of the Transformers kid. What's his name?
Shia LaBeouf. Yes, Shia LaBeouf is a
Yeah.
phenomenal actor. He is an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. I mean, if you some of the stuff he has done, including what was it? Not Pony Boy. The recent thing that was basically a semi-autobiographical film where about him and his father, basically telling his story as a young child actor with a father that pushed him really hard. That was stunning. I mean, that was Oscar-worthy stuff. So he's incredible. He's just been pigeonholed because of Transformers and whatnot. He's literally a victim of his own success. So much so that he self-sabotaged his own career to get out of all of that, so that he can just appear in Sia videos now and whatnot. Do it and all of that. No, I've always been a fan of Shia LaBeouf. I'm a fan of every. But, I mean, to be fair, it's like Lance Meister, the Undead Viking, always says, the best thing about the Indiana Jones movies? They never made a 4th. They stopped at 3.
That's pretty much where I stand. But, I am curious. Of course, I'm going to watch it. Now, I know they pushed it back like another year because of COVID or whatever, but I will definitely watch it. It just can't. I mean, Harrison Ford, that guy cranked out some hits back in the day.
I'm sure he would like to point out he is still doing so.
He still is. Okay, yeah.
You know what? If you want to know,
I guess they're
folks,
not on the blockbuster level anymore.
One of the things you could spend your Rahdo points on is a flash top 3, where Ruel and I will do a top 3 topic. We could do a top 3 Harrison Ford films. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
that's
great.
Right. Don't hoard those Rahdo points. Spend them. We're relying on you to give us content ideas.
That's right. That's what we're here for, folks. So for only 1,500 Rahdo points, we can give you'll get a flash top 3 right here now live. So that would be fun. That would be a fun
You know what?
top
I just went and checked, and I'm kind of regretting having done that push because it just in the minute we've been talking, 4 requests have come in. We have 2 requests for there. It can be only one. We have 1 Trivial Pursuit quest, and we have an I'd like to buy an argument quest.
Oh, interesting. So do we take care of those now?
I mean, we're in the pre-show. We don't do it during the actual show. We could do it in the post-show, but people have spent their points.
Got to give the people what they want.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do?
I just see Knight 2 E4 redeemed a top 3.
And he just did a top 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so are we saying last in, first out?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All righty. All right, and so my original assumption for this was that when we do this, we would come up with a few ones we would let the audience choose. But I kind of feel like we need to do a top 3 Harrison Ford films right now.
It's the perfect, it's like the perfect.
I would be willing to bet no matter what other options we put up, that's what people will choose. So I am going, let's see, we need to go to IMDb. All right.
Yep,
IMDb,
I was going
Harrison
over there.
Ford. All right, let's get that browser back on screen.
Been in a ton of movies.
All righty. Harrison Ford, he's been in a couple of hits. All right. Indiana Jones 5. The Call of the Wild. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I didn't see that one.
It was not his great, it was not a return to greatness or anything like that, but it was nice. It was good fun. Basically a retelling of the Jack Lemmon. Oh yeah, zoom in a little bit so the folks can see. Come on, Calibri browser. There we go. Okay, so you tell me when you see something that warrants potential, like top 5, and of course, Secret Life of Pets 2, obviously, but I don't know if I'll get much support there. Do you want to give it to any of the new Star Wars? I assume not.
No, none of the new Star Wars. I'm scrolling down the list.
You're looking at your own screen. Okay.
Yeah, first one that popped. Oh, I'll look at your screen. The first one that popped out was The Fugitive.
The Fugitive. That is hard to top.
I thought he was fantastic, and him and Tommy Lee Jones, that's one of the best pairings of leads ever in movies. I love that movie.
I am hard pressed to not. All right, and you know what we're going to do while we're doing this? I'm going to be making a poll so people can, All right, so Ford's best. All right, so we can. Here's the deal. I can only put 5 in a poll, so the audience will choose the top 3 for us because we're just making this up as we go. All right, Fugitive, or The Fugitive. The Fugitive. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. All right. The Fugitive.
You're gonna search every hen house, outhouse, hen house.
Oh, good job.
Tommy Lee Jones is fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
he's so good.
Yeah. I mean, that made him a star. And it wasn't a movie. The trailers made him a star.
Yes.
Yep. He was so good. Let's see. Okay. Are we just going to the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars. You got to put those 2 in.
Okay. Do you want Star Wars or do you want Empire?
Oh man, he was. Here's the thing about Empire. Like spoiler alert, folks. If you haven't seen this 50-year-old movie, he's like sort of he's out of it for the last like 20 minutes or so. God, he was so good.
He gives the single most iconic line, arguably in all. Probably the second most iconic line in all of Star Wars. Maybe the third most. Most iconic line, of course. Oh, there's a top 3. Would be "May the Force be with you." But for a lot of people, the second most iconic line is "I know."
I know. Yes, that's. Yep. It's supposed.
Wait, PB knows what I'm talking about. There you go.
Yeah.
Empire or New Hope?
I don't call it New Hope, by the way. I call it Star Wars, the way it was intended to be called. When
you saw it as a young Ruel Gaviola in the theaters in the late 70s?
There was no such thing as New Hope. It was just Star Wars. Ba-ba.
All right.
Let's go with Empire.
Honestly, we have a problem because I was going to go with New Hope.
Really?
Yes. Wow. I mean, I enjoy that movie more, and quite frankly, I enjoy Harrison Ford more. A lot of the Harrison Fordiness, to me, in Empire feels a little forced. Scruffy Nerf Herver, laugh it up, fuzzball. I mean, I know these are all iconic things, but to me, they don't feel natural. It felt like he was doing like a comedy routine, basically for the entire time they were on, for the first third of the movie, the banter and all that. I mean, again, I know is fantastic, and probably the coolest Han Solo moment ever is when the door opens and without blinking, immediately out comes a blaster and he opens fire on Darth Vader. That's cool. But
that is pretty.
I think on the whole, he is. I mean, but actually, what can top Yahoo, kid! You're almost there. Now let's blow this thing and get out of here.
Yep.
Dun, dun,
Great shot,
dun.
kid. That was 1 in a million. Yeah. Let's. You know what you talk
Yep. All right. So okay, we got the big ones out of the way. The Fugitive.
Okay.
Now, I've seen more than one person, I believe, mention Witness.
Oh, Witness. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you know another good one? Presumed Innocent. He was good in Presumed Innocent.
I dimly recall that one. Wow. Do you want to go? Do you want to go to the mount for Presumed Innocent?
Well, I'm not. No, I wouldn't put it on there.
There's a million things. I love Mosquito Coast. I saw that in high school. That had a really big impact on me.
I like Clear and Present Danger. I thought he was good in Clear and Present Danger as Jack Ryan.
But there's no way we're not putting what's it? No. Actually, I got mixed up. I was thinking Hunt for Red October, but this is not an Alec Baldwin or a Sean Connery list. Oopsie.
Oh. Hunt for Red October. Oh, the other Jack Ryan. Yeah. That's right.
I think we will lose followers. People will unsubscribe if we don't put Witness on the list. With good reason. It is an amazing. And then I think the last one. If we're just going pure iconic, we would also lose subscribers if we don't put the original Blade Runner on the list.
Blade Runner. Yep.
All right. So that's it. That's it, folks. You have 1 minute to decide this for the ages.
Wow.
But while they're doing that, for me, I would say of those, let me see, I need to get them back up full screen because I can't see them in the tiny window.
This is really hard.
I would go New Hope #1.
Yeah.
Fugitive #2. And I'm really torn between Witness and Blade Runner as #3.
Wow, you're not going to put Indiana Jones
I am not. Like I said, I like Indiana Jones.
Wow.
Honestly, I like Temple of Doom more than Raiders, quite frankly, when it boils right down to it. I'm weird.
I like Temple of Doom, but
no
Raiders
love for Witness so far. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Not even from the people who suggested Witness in the... I guess people can probably only vote on one thing, right? You folks can't rate things, I bet. Oh.
Yeah.
Probably another 20 minutes, Honey Pie? Is that okay? Okay.
All good?
All right. Yep.
Okay. So, I would definitely not vote for Working Girl. I just saw that.
Well, you should be happy. Raiders of the Lost Ark comes in #1.
Thank you.
Blade Runner,
really?
#2. And Star Wars A New Hope, #3. Fugitive, barely scratched the surface. And Witness, what they said? All right. Well, that, folks, was a top 3, and I can mark that done now. And you know what? We've got a bunch more, but I think we're going to have to wait for the post-show because, spoiler alert, folks, Jen is going to make a brief appearance in the R&R show, and she just opened the door saying, would you please... I got other stuff to do today. So I think we need to get ready for that. So let me close this. Let me change the banner at the bottom of the screen. And folks, what's about to happen is we're going to start recording our weekly show, the R&R Show, which is where we do our top 10 and all that. Oh, no, we haven't done the contest giveaway. We got to do that first.
Oh,
okay. So contest time. Which means I've got to go back to the browser. Okay, first of all, folks, last week, while Ruel was MIA, Shay and I offered to give away a copy of the latest game from Ryan Lockett, Now or Never, which I believe is shipping early next year. Pre-orders are no longer available, so this was one of the last ways you could get it, until I assume he does a reprint. And we are now going to find out who that lucky winner was. I already got the Wheel of Names queued up. If you'll open up Wheel of Names, there we go. Let me just check my email just to see if anybody else showed up. We have one late arrival. All right, Cameron, I will literally type you in by hand.
Wow, look how nice
Cameron, you are. Lawrence. That'll be crazy if he actually wins it. Or she. Oh. Cameron, he or she. All right. Right, so here we go, folks. One lucky winner of Now or Never.
Okay, good luck, everybody. Here we go. And... this week's winner.
It's going to be a K, not a C. Sorry, Cameron. Lao Wang Fat Frankie. Lao Wang. Okay. I'm going to assume the Fat Frankie is your nickname, and Lao Wang is your... Lao, congratulations. I will be contacting you after the show. And I'm sure somewhere, I don't know where you are, Lao Wang, but I'm guessing that that might be in the Far East. And Ryan Locke's thinking, the shipping cost. The shipping! But still, I'm very, very happy about that. Now, folks, we are going to be doing a new giveaway when we start doing the R&R show, which I'm so sorry, honey pie, she can't hear me right now. I'll have to go tell her to get ready, which we'll bring Jen back for. Because our sponsor this week is C4 Labs, which have these really awesome deluxe.
Wow.
No, these are amazing. And
Wow.
Jen was so impressed by these, she has stuff to say as a woodworker herself. So she said she would actually come on and talk about them because honestly, I don't have much to say about the joinery or whatnot, but she does. So before we get going, just a quick check. Could you check the chat? Is there any other stuff? We'll get to all those other things people have paid for after I guilted them into it.
Yeah, people were just talking about the movies and everything, so we're good to go. We got other things to redeem, but we'll do that on the after show, folks.
Exactly.
So again, thanks for spending your Rahdo points. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I might now. Actually, since hardly anybody was doing it for the last 3 weeks, I actually lowered the price on everything. I might need to bring those prices back up now because now we're kind of overloaded. But we will make good on them. We promise. Let's see here. Yes. So let me just queue up. All right. So we need to change the text on screen from we're not in the pre-show anymore. All right. So we've got that one, which is just going to be the standard thing, and then we are going to. We're going to talk about the new giveaway. Let's see. Oh, no, we're going to talk about this first, the sponsor of the show. Then we're going to talk about, and folks, we wouldn't be here if you weren't giving us stuff away, so we'll talk about the game. Then, we haven't figured out a secret word. It's a good thing we double-checked.
Oh.
What's our secret word going to be? And who's going to say it? You haven't done it, so it's going to be you. You got to say it. Or no, I think you did it last time, didn't you?
I did the last time.
But I did it last week when you were gone.
Okay, so I am back. I will do it this time.
Right, so pick a word that either has something to do with the sponsor, C4 Labs and Dice Trays, or we'll be giving away this week a copy of Keep the Heroes Out, which is a nice little co-op dungeon defense game, or one of the things that are in your list that I don't know about. And then you're going to say that word, and it's going to be a word that I won't naturally say.
Oh,
no pressure. Okay. Come up with it now.
Yeah.
Kabuki Kid suggests Kumquat.
Let's go. Wow. What is it? Oh my gosh. Oh, what is this? Maybe I can go with the word. Acrylic.
Acrylic. Okay, that is not something that I just casually drop into conversation as a general rule.
Yeah, me neither.
The secret word is A-C-R-Y-L-I. How do you spell acrylic? A-C-R-Y-L. Is it two L's? A-C-R-Y.
A-C-Y-R. Oh my gosh. Acrylic. A-C-R-Y-L-I-C.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's one or two L's. For some reason, it's probably one.
One L.
I'm sure within 5 seconds, somebody in the chat will say, I can't believe we're even watching
we'll
these
correct
guys.
This, yes.
Thank you, Kabuki and Head of Metal. All right, acrylic. So we've got that queued up. We've got the Heroes video queued up. Actually, I'm just going ahead and email. I'll just queue that up. So when I go to the...
Oh, Stacey Everdell does it too. And again, friends, remember, you're not sending the word acrylic. You're sending the game that when we say the word acrylic, what game we're talking about. That's what you're going to send to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win one of the prizes that we're giving away.
Okay. Or no, I think Zigdy got it right. Real-ick. Yes, thank you. Let me quickly correct that.
Thank you, Ziggity.
All right. I expect, by the way, I'm going to get a lot of false, misdirected emails in my inbox for the rest of the week, as I see every way people could accidentally misspell acrylic. But that's okay. I'll catch them all. Don't worry about it. So we're going to go live in a second. Say hi, chat with the folks. I just got to go tell Jen she'll be on in 5.
Yep. Do your thing. So. Friends, we'll hang out here while Rahdo takes care of business on his end. Hope everyone's doing well. If you didn't know, last week was a rough week for me personally. We lost our pug Bruno unexpectedly, and it's been a rough week. It's been very sad, but that's why I had to take the time off. I've shared it on Twitter and the socials already. We miss Bruno. He was the most loving member of our family. I do want to thank everyone who has reached out, whether it's on socials or through private messages. I thank you so much. Yes, virtual hugs, folks. Michelle and I actually did a live stream last night, first one in over a week. On my channel, my Twitch channel, and it was tough. It really was because just the Bruno was a part of our show basically, so it was really rough. But thank you again for that, friends. It does mean a lot, your support. We are grateful for it. We're humbled by it, actually. People reaching out, and there's a lot of people that understand what we're going through. So, me on behalf of Michelle, my wife, and our daughter Lauren, just want to thank you all again. Bruno was the best. Like we say, he was the best boy, and he'll always be here. Our studio has now been renamed Studio Bruno in his honor. So, yeah, thank you, friends. Okay. Everything okay on your end there?
Yes, Jen is here, so I'm going to turn on the warning. So here's the deal, folks. While Ruel and I are filming the R&R show, we will not be able to be doing back and forth because it's like we're live in studio filming a show, and you folks are in the audience, and we can't respond to everybody. Which is why I've just put the little reminder for folks who come in late. Hey, we will definitely pay attention. We'll stick around. We're just filming the show right now. So let me go on ahead and get ready. That's our sponsor, and so I'll do that. Sponsor, and thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Ruel, for coming back. And we've got a really great show. We want to get right to it, but I think we do need to talk a little bit more about our sponsor, and it's C4 Labs, right? Yes, it is. Okay, and Jen is right off camera. Honey, can you stand right here? You're still safe. You will not be on camera right there. But the closer you can get to the mic, the better. Okay. Here, I'll just move this out of the way completely. Oh. So right there.
Yes.
All right. And let me just rotate the camera a little bit.
There's no mark on the floor for me.
I did not give you your marks.
I need a mark.
Oh my goodness, I have failed. Okay, and we've got the correct stuff on screen, and this is really boring for everybody to look at. Sorry, folks, I jumped the gun there. Let's see, Jen. There's your hand.
Hello.
So as you can see, if you want to scooch a little bit, there you go. There you go.
My mark wasn't on the right spot.
No, I totally failed. Okay, so all right, we're going back, and one more swig of water.
Do they get to hear you hack and gack?
Yes, but once I say we're going, then we're actually treating it like a real show, and we're trying not to make goofs. Up until now, it's been pretty chillax. Okay, thanks everybody. Hope you're enjoying the behind the scenes. Here, let me pull this up. No, actually, I think I need to keep that up, don't I? Yeah, I do need to keep that up. Okay, everybody, here we go. Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by C4 Labs. And welcome one and all to, I think, episode 16 of the R&R Show. And welcome back, Ruel, who took a week off last week.
Thanks, Rahdo. I'm so happy to be here. There was no way I was going to miss our Sweet 16, my friend. So.
I didn't even think of that. Look at you. Right? Your time away has not dulled your razor-sharp entertainment senses. Well done, sir. Cool.
Thank you. And I've got to say one thing. Yes. That mustache of yours, my friend, is looking very, very sharp.
There's a whole thing about the mustache. And folks, if you'd like to know about it, you can watch the extended edition of the R&R Show, which will be going live at the same time we put just the R&R Show. It turns out there's a whole bunch of extra stuff we do before and after where we interact with a live audience, and I'll tell you the mustache story at that point. But today, just pretend this lip caterpillar is nowhere to be seen. Although I never forget it. I can't stop. I actually started twirling it last night.
Like an evil, like a villain. Look
exactly, I know. It's not quite enough, but it's almost there. Anyway, though, folks, before we get going, I want to talk a little bit more about our sponsor, C4 Labs. They've got a Kickstarter going right now for their new deluxe line of accessories. I actually covered some of their accessories last year, dice towers and various sundry things. But this new one, which if you want, you can hit that eye in the top right corner screen or go check out the show notes. These things are amazing. And when this showed up in the mail the other day, my wife, Jen, was in the kitchen at the time I was opening, and she said, "What is that?" And she was so passionate about this that she's not going to appear on camera, but Honey Pie, what do you have to say about these?
I didn't say, "What is that?" I said, "What is that?"
She did, exactly.
Yes, look at that. It is.
Oh, now she wants to touch it.
I want it, yes. And I'm so glad that I have it, because I was going to try and figure out how I could win this if this was like a drawing giveaway thing, like stack the deck or something, because this is just beautiful. I mean, it feels nice. It's beautifully sanded. It's smooth. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And look at the joints.
Yeah, that was literally the first thing she talked about. She said, "Look at the joinery on this thing." And I'm like, it's a bunch of different types of wood. Yeah.
I mean, my dad was a woodworker. It is a woodworker, but has been for probably 50, 60 years. Mm-hmm. And so I grew up with his wood shop in our garage and everything. And so I can definitely appreciate gorgeous woodworking, and this is gorgeous.
Yep. Yeah, Jen.
And it's mine.
Yeah.
They sent it to us. It's mine. I don't even have to steal it.
Yeah, so far they haven't asked for it back, and so we haven't had to cross that bridge yet. But yeah, Jen, I mean, she's not giving herself enough credit. She herself is a woodworker. I mean, you should see the heirloom quality butcher block table she made in her 20s that we still use to this day, over 20 years later. But yeah, these are gorgeous. They are a premium item, and if you'd like to know more about them, you can check out the link up in the top right corner or down in the show notes to go check out the Kickstarter page.
And you could just pet it if you like.
It feels wonderful. It's really well designed. Just to prove, it does actually hold dice. It's a nice design too, that if you have multiple players, hey, I could store my dice over here, and then when Ruel goes and rolls, he'll go on ahead and keep this one over there. So it's a nice ergonomic design for gameplay, but the quality of this, and they talk about the making of these on the Kickstarter page too.
And listen to this.
Oh.
Listen.
Okay. All right, if you can hit it. Yes, Jen loves the fact this is not real leather. This is vegan leather for folks who are concerned about such things. And shut up again. Let me make something close to the mic. It has a really nice dull sound
it's a nice. I don't like loud. Things. So.
Agreed. I'm the same way, Jen. I love the fact that it's muted, that sound. As much as I like the clicky-clack of dice, it's nice to have that the faux leather there.
Well, anyway, folks, that's the sponsor for the show, and that was a special off-screen guest appearance by my wife, Jen. There she actually was. I wasn't throwing my voice. And we can get on. Thanks, Honey Pie. Okay. Wow.
Wow, what a beautiful tray.
These are stunning. This is the kind of thing, this is an heirloom quality item. It really is. That if you can get your kids to love games as much as you, this will be something you hand down to them. Alrighty.
Yeah, I think that's such a neat little feature too, the little where you can store the dice for the different players. I mean,
it doesn't have to be, depending on the game. It could be, we'll store our engine dice over here and our weapon dice over there. It could be lots of different ways, but very, very cool. And so that was getting business out of the way, but we do have a little bit more business, in fact, because every week, folks, I don't know, some of you probably show up because you would like to win a game, wouldn't you? I imagine you would, and so it is time to talk about the contest. Ruel, tell them what we're going to do.
We are going to be saying a secret word, folks. But the thing is, you know what the secret word is. And what you're going to do is just pay attention to the show. And when one of us is going to say the word acrylic.
That's correct.
Okay. And when that comes up during the show, there's going to be a specific game we're talking about when I'm going to be saying it, right? Are we it's spoiler alert. Like,
oh, wow. Right? You totally spoiled it. I wasn't going to tell him.
I totally spoiled it.
Normally, one of the advantages of tuning in early on the live show is we clue everybody in as to who will say it. But this time, Ruel spilled the beans, so it's going to be a little bit easier to spot.
Yeah. So it's not really a secret word, but you're going to have to pay attention and find out when I say it. So whatever game we're talking about at the time, type in that game title and send it to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win a game that we're looking at right now. Is that right?
That's correct. This game is Keep the Heroes Out. I did a coverage for it when it was on Kickstarter last month, and it is a very, very clever cooperative dungeon defender where each player takes on a very asymmetric role, whether you're the slimes or the dragon or the gremlins or the skeletons. We all have special powers, but we're all working together to keep the heroes out. The game comes with a ton of different cool little unique story-driven missions with different layouts and stuff like that, and Jen and I really liked it a lot. At its heart, it's a very good cooperative deck builder, and it's got amazing components. It was very, very successful on Kickstarter, and so one lucky winner is going to be getting a retail edition of this. I think it's going to be the all-in edition, actually, sent to you when when its production is completed next year. And so if you would like to win Keep the Heroes Out, as Ruel says, listen for, him to say the word acrylic, and he will do it when we're talking about a game. I have no idea when he's going to do it, but if you spot that, as it says at the bottom of the screen, send an email to contest@rahdo.com with the name of the game we were talking about as the subject of the email. And again, that secret word is acrylic. Let me put it on the screen because I had to double check how to spell it. So just to make that clear right now, the secret word is acrylic. Don't worry if you spell it wrong. I'll still catch it anyway. And we will do a drawing for that next week. We actually do the drawings for the games in the pre-show. So if you show up live on Tuesday, what day? Tuesday, the 23rd of November at 12 noon Pacific time on Twitch. You can watch us do the drawing to see who wins. And we'll be giving away something else next week. But now I think we have gotten all the show business out of the way. Am I forgetting something?
Yeah. No, I think we've got it all, and I just, I'm thinking here, I just totally blew it as far as hey, I'm going to be saying the secret word. This is what happens when I don't show up for a week, right? Yep. So I need to stay on top of it, and come back every week, folks. So yeah, just pay attention for the word acrylic, and then type in the name of the game and send it over to contest@rahdo.com. You'll be entered to win your very own copy of
the Heroes Out.
What's it called? The Heroes Get Out?
The Heroes Out.
Keep the Heroes
A very
out.
fun game. You can go watch my run through to see more. Okay, folks.
All right.
And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't think you're going to win. Then you can actually, you know what? I'm going to put a link down in the show notes for that as well. So you can go, because I believe they do have a post-campaign. What was that always called? The Kickstarter pages, they do the late backer page. I'm sure they've got one, so I'll put a link for that down in the show notes as well, because it's a lovely little game. But anyway, folks, we are done with that, and it is time to hit what you came here to see. You want us to count backwards from 10 to 1. Why? I don't know, but we'll try to make it a little bit more interesting by including some kind of game-related topic.
We just like to count backwards from 10 to 1.
Yep. Yeah, we're getting really good at it, too.
Yeah.
We almost do it without making mistakes. So this week's topic is the top 10 games we'll never get rid of, which actually, that's a topic that people have been asking me to do for years, and it was one of the first topics we discussed. Hey, maybe this should go on our list of things to do. But I've always been hesitant to do it until the month of October, when 3 or 4 different channels all did this topic at the same time. It started with Monique and Naveen of Before You Play. Thank you. And then, I think Alex of Board Game Code did one, and I think I saw a couple more, and well, okay, I guess this is the topic du jour, and we're a little late to the party, but I sat down this morning and thought long and hard. I don't know, what was your process for this?
This was, okay, so here's the thing. It was really tough for me because these aren't necessarily our favorite games, right? These are games that we will never get rid of for one reason or another. And for me, I started last night and I came up, okay, so I had a list of 20 games, right? I narrowed it down to 20 and I had to cut it in half. And it was tough for me because, do I keep something for sentimental value or do I keep something for replayability? And I'm thinking all these factors. So I took a little bit of everything on my list. As you'll see, the games that I end up on my list, you'll see the ones that I chose. And there's a little bit, hey, I'm keeping this because it means something, there's sentimental value to it. There's another one that I'm keeping because this is, well, for whatever reasons, you will see. But it was a lot tougher than I thought. It's a really interesting process to go to. And I'm curious. I have a feeling I know what's one of them on yours, but the other 4, I have no idea what's
Okay. Well, I have no idea what's coming. Well, I could guess. Because that's the tricky thing.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do this is say, what are my 5 favorite games? Okay. That's it. Done. Yeah. But it just wasn't as simple as that. And so I just kept going through my top 300 games, just one after another, saying, what would it feel like if I didn't have this game? How would I feel? And I just kept asking myself that over and over again. And there were several of my favorite games. Very few of my top 50 of all time made it onto this list, if I recall correctly.
Same.
Because, you said, a lot of them are all about emotional attachment or nostalgia, or they represent a certain moment in our lives. I'll be honest, I'm surprised you didn't say it. Some of them are monetary. Some of these are hard to get. And if I didn't have this, I would never get to play it again. So I think those are really my main 2 factors. So last thing before we get going, who's going to start? You or me?
I can start. That way I'll start with the number 10, which will lead you to the number
your number 10,
1.
Ruel?
Number 10 is, let me go to this thing. Let me do the little behind the scenes.
Okay. Oh, yes. So you're going to put it at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to load up a video of it.
And sure enough, why is this not working?
Because.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
My gosh.
We have this cool little feature that allows Ruel to remotely change stuff on my computer so he can update the graphic at the bottom that says what it is, but it's just all of a sudden decided to break and die.
Okay, let's see if this works. I'm syncing it
Yeah.
now. Come on, sync.
And if you do, you will reveal the number 10 of our games to get
Number
rid
10.
of is all right,
Crokinole.
Crokinole.
Folks,
Yep, that is a good
Crokinole,
one.
yes. Now I had a really tough time with this
Yeah.
one because so this game is relatively new to me. I only started playing it within the last year, but the amount of joy this game brings me and has brought to everyone that I've played this with is just, oh, it is out of this world. To me, it's the greatest dexterity game of all time. It's basically like shuffleboard, like a miniaturized shuffleboard style game where you're knocking checkers into each other. Yeah, it's really simple to learn. You take one color, your opponent takes another color. You're trying to get that middle hole to get the most points. You're trying to knock your the opponent's checkers off the board, and you score. It's a race to 100 points. There's different ways to score depending on where your checkers land after you play all of them in one round. Oh my goodness gracious, Crokinole is amazing. And as you can see here, there's all kinds of different boards you can do, custom graphics. I have one that's like that one right there, just very straightforward. But look at this. You can have maps. You can have, that cool score graphic, whatever. This game is something the only bad thing about this game, it's so big and bulky, it's hard to like bring to like a party or whatever, right?
So
but
you have it's ginormous, right? I've heard some people literally when they're not playing, they hang their Crokinole boards on their walls as a work of art.
Yes. And that's what I want to do with mine eventually. Like, they have the little hooks on the back that you can put up there, but it's just a wonderful game. And the thing is, it's got staying power. This game was invented, I believe, up in Canada 150 years ago. So it's not going. There's something to be said for a game like that has staying power. I actually thought about this one really. I thought about this one may not stay in my collection because this is the type of thing that you gift to someone, like generations go by. Like, I know that people whose grandfathers made their Crokinole board, pass it on to their father, pass it on to them. So I can see this going as far as like an heirloom thing. I'm going to keep mine, but then, there's going to be the day when I'm no longer around. It's going to be passed on to my stepdaughter, Lauren, who loves it as well. And then she'll pass it on to whoever. Crokinole, folks, I will never get rid of this game. I absolutely love it. That's my number 10.
Yeah, that is a beautiful option. I cannot fault it at all. And
has Jen never made a Crokinole board?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, we were talking right up front that she's done a lot of woodworking in her life. Back when she was doing it a lot, when she had access to a wood shop when we were living in Seattle, Washington, there was one nearby that she was friends with the person, and they let her come in and do whatever she wanted. At that point, we never heard of Crokinole or even really modern board games at all. So one thing, I've played Crokinole in real life. I think the thing that pictures cannot do it justice is just the feel of these things because they are waxed.
Yes.
So that you have this incredibly smooth motion. It's like the pucks. It's kind of like, it feels like you're playing on an air hockey table, the way the movement is, but there's no electrics. It's just so wonderfully preserved and waxed, and they are just a blast. So simple to teach how to play. I mean, you said it right, much like our sponsor this week, C4 Games Lab, with their deluxe game trays. This is something that if you get a really nice one, you will want to, hand it down, and it'll be an heirloom quality thing. Nothing like that even occurred to me. But that is beautiful, and I certainly agree that is an excellent number 10. And now my only thing is, why didn't that come in higher? It feels like it should. But
yeah, well, again, this was a tough list to put together. There was a lot of great games we could have gone with, and as you'll see, some of these I've got some sentimental value attached to them. But that's my number 10, Crokinole. Let's move on to number 9, my friend.
Let's go to number 9 because that's mine, and it is Glory to Rome. Of course, I said it. I'm not going to deny it. If I somehow lost my wonderful black box super duper limited edition of Glory to Rome, I would never get it back, and that would make me very sad. In fact, actually, when I was last night, I was starting to work on the list and starting to give some thought about what I was going to put on there, and Jen was sitting there in her chair, and I asked, honey, if you could think of one game, what would it be? And she said Glory to Rome. Instantly. without even thinking twice about it, because we both really love the game. It is a brilliant multi-use card game. It's best of class. There have been other games that have tried to emulate it. Take the core gameplay and put it in different settings and whatnot. Even the original designer has revisited the ideas and put them in like dinosaur worlds and stuff like that. But nothing touches the original Glory to Rome. The design is brilliant. It is all about rebuilding Rome after the great, what was it, fire or earthquake or something like that. Every card you have in your hand of cards could either be used for whatever it says on the left, on the right, on the top, or on the bottom. And basically, you slide them under your player board to indicate whether they are building materials, whether they are buildings you're trying to build, whether they are things that generate points for you after you've built buildings. And the secret sauce of this game is it comes with a huge deck of tons and tons of unique cards. And it's just amazing how much variety there is. You will never get two games of Glory to Rome that play out quite the same because of, whether you'll get a storeroom and amphitheater early or late in the game changes everything. And then the other beautiful thing about it too is this is a card game where when some player does an action, the other players get to follow and do the action as well. And I believe if you don't have a card that lets you follow what I'm doing, then you shout Glory to Rome and you just get to draw another card. So everybody's involved all the time. It is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It commands prices of probably over $200 for what is basically a deck of cards, which, I could not in good conscience pay that much money, but I don't have to because I will never get rid of my number 9, Glory to Rome.
Yeah, this one is one on my bucket list of games. I've never played this. I've seen it at cons before, but every time, like, my friends or whoever would be playing it, the game would be all full. Like I'd have to come back. It's like, oh, can I play yet? No, we're playing this, and I just have not gotten to the point to be able to play yet. But I know its reputation, and there's some drama with the publisher and like the rights to it, right? So there's like no way it's ever going to be reprinted, unfortunately. But one of these days I will play it. I don't know if I can pay that type of money for it, but I will. I know friends that have it, and I'm looking forward to playing your number 9, Glory to Rome.
What's your number 8, sir?
Number 8, I'm updating the thing right now. Let's sync it up. And my number 8, folks, is actually a newer game. This one might be a surprise to you. Kohaku.
Really? Okay.
Kohaku, yes. And there's a particular reason for this. Like Glory to Rome, which is now out of print. Kohaku, the way it was printed originally was almost like a deluxe version, but it was the retail version. But they have changed it now, where that version, which has acrylic tiles in the game, they're now just standard cardboard tiles.
Oh, I see.
So this like so-called this retail edition is no longer be available as it is. It's now, instead of acrylic tiles, it's going to be cardboard tiles, and it's a wonderful game. It's a gateway, maybe a gateway plus game of tile drafting and then tile placement. You got some set collection. If you see those acrylic tiles, they're absolutely gorgeous, right? I mean, these things. I mean, you could throw at someone and hurt someone. I mean, don't do it, folks. I'm not saying go throw it at anyone, but they are just some of the most beautiful pieces I've seen in a board game, and it comes with a play mat. And again, the new version of the game, I don't think it's a playmat. I think it's just a standard, board.
Okay. Like the prototype that I played with when I covered it, which is what I'm showing on screen. Exactly. Now. I should show some of this deluxe stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, the deluxe. I think I might have a video where Michelle and I played it. But anyways, it is a wonderful game. It's part of this whole trend of like tile laying games that took like the tile laying mechanism to the next level, right? So instead of just, hey, here's a tile, we collect a different set or two. You've got multiple things going on. You have a spatial thing, like can you get them in a certain order, and then you also have a set collection thing. Can you get certain sets of things, and then on top of that, you have, can I get certain sets in a particular order? There are the acrylic tiles right there. They're absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, 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 folks. And that's a game I will never get rid of because it's a family favorite as well. And, as much as I enjoy the game, like the acrylic tiles.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about them, if you can't quite tell from this image, is, what you're doing is you're building koi ponds by doing tile laying, and these tiles have the fish or the dragonflies or whatever kind of superimposed on top, but they're see-through tiles, and you feel like, oh, this is a real pool of water that is, developing in front of us. So, yeah, I'm kind of jealous. I don't have that. All I ever had was just the cheap knockoff, prototype when I filmed it, and I
Yeah.
did not know
Yeah.
that this cool deluxe edition was a limited time thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't think they just recently announced it where it's like, oh, by the way, we're now the game that comes out now is not going to have the cool tiles and everything. And yeah, you really you need to see these in real life to appreciate them, friends. Like it's almost like a 3D effect. Like you'll see the koi, on the tile, and then the like little dragonflies and everything else. They look like they're flying above them. It's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And that is my number 8, Kohaku.
An excellent choice, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not your favorite game of all time by far, but it's one you will never get rid of. And now that you said all that, if I had it, I would probably say the same, quite frankly. Okay. Well, let's move on to my number 7, which is definitely one of our favorite games of all time. It is Roll for the Galaxy. Oh my gosh. And this one, I don't know. I should have actually looked. Is it hard to get Roll for the Galaxy now? I'm not quite sure.
It's funny because I know it goes in and out of print every a couple of years,
I
right?
think it is definitely going to be one of those games that will just stick around forever. People will always be able to pick it up. It's gotten, I believe, 2 or maybe 3 full expansions worth of content now. That was not the best video to choose. Let me go on ahead and choose my earlier video. I just did the first Rahdo video I could find. Rahdo, Roll, Galaxy. Give me the full run through, not one of the... Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
There we go. And this one... It is not because of its resale value. It is not because of any potential rarity issues, which I don't think are ever going to be the case. This one is because my wife loves this game so much. I think push came to shove. If I had to ask Jen, hey, what's your favorite board game of all time? This, I don't know if it would be her number 1, but it would certainly be one that she would strongly consider. She loves this game so much. We have played this game so much. And I mean, it's one of those games. If we ever do a top 10 games we're up for playing at any time, day or night, this would probably make it as well. Jen and I mean, we have spent so much time bonding over this. And it's hard. It's a wonderful little galaxy empire building game where you roll dice behind a screen, you try to figure out how best to use them, manipulate them, whatever it might be, but you're doing it in secret, trying to figure out what your opponent is going to do, and then everybody reveals at the same time, and if you could get into the head of your opponent, you are going to do very well indeed, because you can follow off of them, same as in Glory to Rome. And the thing we probably love more than anything else about it is after we're done, we always like to sit back and say, well, okay, tell me about your empire. Because it feels like we always end up creating a really interesting Dune-level story that spans generations where we started out doing this, but then we pivoted to the other thing, but then this event happened and all of that. And so, I mean, for us, it comes to life so much. And we both just have such, I mean, I guess it's nostalgia. I think, we lived in Malta for years. And that's when we played this game a lot. And I think one of the things that will be inexorably tied in my memory, in my nostalgia banks for living in Malta all those years, is playing this game over and over with Jen. And with anybody who would play it with us. We have played more 4-player games of this than just about any other game on my shelves right now. Because Jen will just take any excuse. Do you know how to play it? Yeah, let's get it out. Let's teach you how to play. Although, I should say, this is maybe the hardest game to teach I have ever tried to teach.
Right?
It is monstrous. But
the icons and everything, it can be a bear to teach. But this is an excellent choice. Just a little inside baseball here. This was on my top 10.
Oh, really?
For this list. Yeah, and it didn't make the cut, but yeah, it was right there. I love this game. I mean, you got to look at all those dice you get. I mean, I love rolling dice. You get a fistful of dice, a cup full of dice. There's nothing like that sound of clackety clack, and then you put your cup down when you're finished. And that shows just how strongly my wife feels about it. She said earlier how she hates dice making a lot of noise, so she was so in love with our show-sponsored C4 Labs with the vegan leather tray, and she likes how it deadens the sound. When she plays Roll for the Galaxy, she gets that cup and she shake a slam. She's just so into it. It is. There's something about it that's just so satisfying.
I agree.
That's a great choice. Love it.
Well, okay, that was my number 7. What, sir, is your number 6?
Number 6. Let me sync it up right now and get it ready. My number 6 is big time nostalgia for me. Samurai by Reiner Knizia. This is probably I want to say it's my favorite Knizia game, but Raw is up there as well. But this is the first one I ever played, so it's got that sentimental value to it. When I first started the hobby back in 2015, I played games at home, but I eventually made it out to a local gaming meetup. And for the first time ever, I was there. I had no idea what any of these games people were bringing. I had the table. I was like, I mean, at that time I'd played Sushi Go, I'd played Ticket to Ride, I'd played Pandemic. All this other stuff blew my mind, and Samurai was the first one I played, and I absolutely loved it. It's, you are fighting over the ancient lands of Japan here as samurai warriors. You also have Ronins, but you're trying to capture these pieces. It's an abstract game at its heart, and you're playing tiles down that have numbers, and the numbers, you're looking once a certain tile is surrounded, you'll see who has the most. It's an area majority, and then you will take that one of those three different ones. I think it's military, farming, and religion. I believe are the different
of those fancy player pieces, those abstract kind of almost chess-like pieces. Yeah.
Chess-like pieces, yes. And this is actually the version I have as well. This is the original Rio Grande edition, not the Fantasy Flight one. So, yeah, I've played this several times over the years, and I always enjoy it. I've taught it to many of my friends. Family loves it as well. And just the fact that, hey, this is one of the games that really, got me into the hobby. And when I was getting into the hobby, it was the first one I played at a local gaming meetup. I have that memory of, hey, for the first time I met strangers that played games, and I had no idea what I was doing, but they welcomed me with open arms, and this was the game one of the first games we played, Samurai, and it eventually became something where I became such a fan of Dr. Knizia that I always seek out his games now. But this is the one that got me started. It's my number 6 game I'll never get rid of, Samurai.
Wow. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts about the new, you could argue, deluxeified Fantasy Flight version, where they completely redid the art, they redid all the pieces. I think you could say they made it less abstract, less like a chessboard, and more like kind of a modern game board. So what were your thoughts of it?
Yeah, I never played the Fantasy Flight version. I did see it, and I can see how they're doing the Fantasy Flight thing with the little miniature style stuff and trying to get more thematic. To me, the game is brilliant no matter what you do. Even though I haven't played that version, I'm sure it's just fine. But I'm perfectly fine, and I love the original version that I have and I've had for years, and I will never get rid of.
Yep, I don't blame you at all. I think it is a brilliant game. It just goes to show how far ahead of the curve Knizia has always been, and everybody else is playing catch up with him, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I mean, this game, folks, this is like a 20-year-old game. I mean, and it's still, if it was released today, I think it would be a hit.
I agree.
It's so well done, and a lot of his games that I really enjoy are the fact that his rules overhead is very low. You don't have to read a 20-page rule book to play Samurai. It's literally I think 2 or 3 pages with a bunch of pictures and stuff. It's so easy to get into, and it's easy to teach, and it's a wonderful game.
It's a good number 6.
That's my number 6.
I approve. Samurai. I have to say. I mean, those pieces, I just love touching them and feeling them. The components are so lovely. Okay, well, that was your number 6. My number 5, sir, is Castles of Burgundy. And I had to do it. Oh, so this is the one you knew, right? Here's the deal.
Actually, there's 2, but this one I knew this was going to be on there.
I love more than anything else, really rich, crunchy, many would argue dusty and dry and boring Euros that are just all about, being some middle manager in some Renaissance era European country just building things. I don't know why that speaks to me on such a deep level. Maybe because my wife and I lived for so long in Europe and we just loved it so much as Americans living abroad, and maybe that just kind of accentuated it. But, as I was going through the list, I mean, several of my choices were about nostalgia, or money. This one is not. This one, and I should say, today I am showing the anniversary edition because if I had to pick, even though I like the presentation of the original, the more sedate, laid-back, subdued version that's not quite so boom, look at me, as the 10th anniversary edition. Right. If you go to the 10th anniversary edition, you've got 10 years worth of expansions in there, that just give you so much replayability. And ultimately, at the end, my thinking was I really wanted to include something, what's it? My last one, Roll for the Galaxy, is kind of there for my wife. This one's here for me because I never tire of this. This is a game that, oh yeah, if I've got 2 hours, I want to sit down and play it. I want to try some mix of the various and sundry expansions that are available. I want to skip to some place in the video where something interesting will happen, because this was a game that Jen and I played, which most people haven't seen. But man, this was, if you can see it in the corner, this was me and Jen for just 2 hours sitting there staring and crunching. And for some people, that sounds horrible. For us, it is the best time. This game has so much replayability in it. And like I said, I don't really have a strong sense of nostalgia for it. I really don't. And this game is always going to be in print, forever. It's an evergreen game for its publisher. And so it's never going to be hard to get. Plus, they have a really good app version of it. Several games I was thinking, oh, I really love this, but you know what? If I needed to, I could play the app version of this. And Burgundy has an app. But there was just something about this game that when I said, well, what if I didn't have it? What if it wasn't on my shelf? What if I did not own that one game? And that hit me. It was like a pang, and I could not give up that one. This was not my first game. This was not my first Euro. But something about it, it's important to me, this particular game. It's my favorite Stefan Feld game of all time, and he is my favorite designer. But this is my only Feld game on the list. I don't know. I kind of pride myself. It's kind of my job to articulate my thought process about games. And for me, it sounds cheesy, but there's almost something mystical about this game for me, that it just really speaks to me on such a gut level. And like Roll for the Galaxy, this is a game that I've always tried to get a chance to play under any circumstances. And it would hurt too much to not own my number 5, The Castles of Burgundy.
So good. Yeah, it's my favorite Feld game by far. I love it as well. And it was, I don't know if it was my top 10, probably definitely my top 20 as far as this list is concerned. But you know what, you bring up an interesting point about, having the app version versus the real, the analog version. And there's just more gratifying to put you're building your estate, and you got your little tiles there, and you're rolling the dice. There's just, you can't replace that.
I completely agree. Like when the game is over, this is a game where you really feel like you accomplish a lot. And you sit back and you look at my domain that I have created. And then you're just going to dump it back in the box. But still, very few games give as strong a sense of satisfaction. Didn't actually talk about the gameplay at all. It's also a brilliant use of dice-driven actions where you roll the dice, and those dice restrict you because you're trying to get the right things to build into the right place in your province. It is just about flawless. I think it's reasonable to complain that it's a little on the long side. Could it be one less round? If anybody says that, that's totally fair. But and normally I'm the one to say that. Normally I'm the one championing games that say, okay, we got out. We didn't overstay our welcome. I'm sure for some people Burgundy does. It doesn't for us. It's my number 5. But sir, what is your number 4?
Number 4 is let me update the little thing here. This is a newer game, newish game, but it is paperback. And
I knew there was a reason I have you on this show.
Okay, awesome. So when Michelle and I first started dating, we weren't into modern board games, but we would play Scrabble every now and then on date night. And, Scrabble is the classic word game that everyone, it's either Scrabble or Boggle. And we did that plenty of times during our dating or before we got married. But then we discovered modern board games, and all of a sudden, paperback came into my life, and it is oh my gosh, the best word game out there, in my opinion, because it takes two things I love. I love deck building. I love word games. It mashes it together in a wonderful blend. And folks, if you like word games, this is a game for you. Now, there is a sequel to it, a standalone sequel called Hardback. For friends that are more into hobby gamers, I would recommend Hardback, because if word games aren't your jam, Hardback is more your style, because you're going to do things like almost like Star Realms, where you're playing different factions and stuff, but it's word based. But paperback for me, it's basically Scrabble, but Dominion style. You're playing cards, draw 5 cards just like any standard deck builder. You have to make up a word, as you can see here in the video. Make up a word, and the price of the cost, the money that you generate with your word, you're going to use those to buy letters that give you special abilities and allow you to create longer words, which will give you bonuses and so forth. It's everything I love about a word game. And the best thing about it, it's a competitive game, but there's a cooperative version as well, which is a lot of fun. You build a pyramid of letters, or the special bonuses that you're trying to unlock before time runs out. It's like you have a certain number of cubes on each letter you're trying to unlock. Michelle and I love playing that one. As someone, so I went to school. I was an English major. That's my jam. My previous life, I was a technical writer. So I love words and I love word games. And for me, paperback is my jam, and that's why it's my number 4 game I will never get rid of.
I completely agree. It's a wonderful game, and correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't I introduce you to the co-op mode? Am I right about that? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Did you?
Because I was talking to somebody about this game, about how great it is, and how my favorite way to play is co-op, and I think it was you who said, you can play co-op?
Maybe it was. When we did, way back in the day, many moons ago, we did that video about cooperative games. So I'm going to have to look back.
I think that was it. Yeah, I think somebody owes me a gift basket.
I'll give you a gift basket that includes a dictionary, my friend.
Yes, that maybe could teach me how to spell certain words that may or may not be said at any given point. Everybody needs to be listening for those words. Right. Or yes, it also helps in paperback too. That even makes even more sense. You're right.
Yeah, right. Love that game, and paperback, it will never leave my collection.
I completely agree. So that was your number 4, correct?
Yes.
Right.
That is my number 4.
Alrighty, well, let's move on then to my number 3, another one I will never part with. It is Shadowrun Crossfire. Okay. And I think longtime fans of my show aren't necessarily going to be surprised by that. This is, I think, my second highest rated game in my entire collection. And it is... this game... I shouldn't like this game, quite frankly. And neither should my wife. We should both hate this game for different reasons. It is set in the Shadowrun universe, which is kind of like Blade Runner crossed with Lord of the Rings. It's a future dystopic, big cities, but with orcs and dragons and stuff running around. It's a really oddball thing. Jen should hate it because you spend a lot of time running around with machine guns shooting each other in this world. And I should hate it because I have just never found the subject matter to be even remotely enticing. I've always been aware of it. I remember video games back when I worked at Nintendo a million years ago. There was a really very popular Super Nintendo game based on the Shadowrun universe. And I'm like, why do people like this? I just don't get it. But this game, both Jen and I have fallen so hard in love with it in spite of those things that would keep us away. At its heart, it is a cooperative, very fast-playing deck builder where each of us are on a shadow run and we're under crossfire. Basically, it's one of those situations where the job has gone bad. Whoever hired us, turned us into the cops, and now we're on the run. And the entire game, which is very fast, this is a 20 to 30 minute game. All you're trying to do is survive and get out before you get worn down. And this game is one of the harshest, most punishing co-ops on the market. It is up there with your Ghost Stories, and that it really puts you through the ringer. And that's a big reason why I love it so much, because it makes me and Jen both feel so brilliant when we pull off a win because the odds are so much against us. But the brilliant thing I love about it is, if we're not going to make it. Spoiler alert for an old movie with starring Kurt Russell and not John, the guy with the ponytail. Above the Law guy, Steven Seagal. What was that movie? Executive Decision. Thank you. Okay, spoiler alert for Executive Decision. One of my favorite moments in movies of all time. Okay, if you want to avoid this spoiler, pause now and check the show notes down below. There's a link that'll let you skip forward about half a minute. Okay? It's all gone to hell. They're all gonna die. Kurt Russell is reaching out to Steven Seagal, says, "We're not gonna make it." And Steven Seagal says, "You are." And he slams the button and he ends up sacrificing himself to save everybody. And it happens in the first 20 minutes of the movie and nobody saw it was coming. Yeah. I feel bad spoiling it now, but it's a 20-year-old movie. This game gives us that feel. Because if we realize, honey, I am not gonna make it. I'm up against it. I'm going down next round. And that's when all of our strategies have to pivot. And suddenly, it's all about survival. Can Jen get out alive? Because if I go down, Jen has to survive one round where everybody piles on her. And it's the most dramatic moment in all of board gaming when that happens. Man, I feel really bad about spoiling Executive Decision now. Oh, because it's such an amazing moment. It was in the commercials, though, to be fair, as I recall from back then. Fortunately, oh man, I might have to edit that out. I think I'm going to have to do some editing on this video because I feel so bad about that. But anyway, it's still a great movie after that, even if you know that's happening. This movie or this game captures that feeling. So I love everything about it. It's wonderful to have such a really dense, exciting, dramatic, and deep. It's a really smart deck builder too. It does a lot of really great stuff. The reason why it's on the list is because it is out of print and it's probably never coming back. The publisher released a Shadowrun Crossfire. They didn't call it the deluxe. They called it the Runner Edition a couple of years after my first edition came out, and they made some core fundamental changes that I fundamentally disagree with. And so if you are going to pick up a copy, it's going to be that newer edition, and you can kind of retroactively apply the old rules to the new version, but I want to hold on to this. I never want to lose it. I mean, I'd happily play this anytime, anywhere, and I think it's, over time, it's just going to get harder and harder and harder and harder to get this first edition. Plus, I also have the expansion, the high octane expansion, which is going to be impossible to get. So I will never lose these. And just talking about it now makes me want to play it again, and apologize one more time to anybody watching about the Executive Decision spoilers. But I mean, there's just no better way to encapsulate the feelings it gives you. No other game I know of gives a feeling like this. And Shadowrun Crossfire does it almost every time you play. My number three.
I've never played this game, but just listening to it, like the theme, and then the fact that you compared it to Executive Decision, I'm like, I need to play this game. That was such a fun movie, right? Yep. And again, you can edit out the spoilers if you want, but it's a terrific movie. Well, it's one of those, like, I call it good bad movies because it's pretty cheesy. If you really think about it. Come on.
Quite frankly, the moment I talked about is what elevates that movie. If that moment didn't happen, it would just be a typical 90s action film. I mean, they were super common.
Fact that happened, like, I saw this movie. Yeah, I saw this movie in the theater, and literally the entire theater cheered at that moment. It was so.
That is not the response that I think that the filmmakers were trying to engender, but I certainly understand. I remember the 90s. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to play it.
All right. So, what is your number two, sir?
Crossfire. Nice. Let's move on to my number two, and this is a game. It's easy to find. You can find this at Target, folks. This is super easy to find. It's Ticket to Ride. This is the game. You were just talking about how you and Jed played a ton of Roll for the Galaxy back in the day, back in Malta. When I got into the hobby, it was all about Pandemic. That I played the game Pandemic. That's what brought me in the hobby. But it didn't bring Michelle into the hobby. And she loved the theme, but she didn't really like the gameplay of Pandemic. But a month after I got in Pandemic, I bought a copy of Ticket to Ride, and that was it. Michelle fell in love with that game. We played it every night, maybe sometimes multiple times a night for a week straight. I always bring this up. She still has the greatest win streak in our house. She beat me 7 times in a row. She will never let me forget it, and I always have to shout her out. 7 straight games she beat me in Ticket to Ride, but I loved every moment. This is the game that brought our entire family in it, and honestly, this was not literally a life changer for me because I got into the hobby because I was into the hobby because of Pandemic, but Ticket to Ride really opened it up where the rest of my family got into it. I got friends into it, and then it led me to go to my first public gaming meetup a couple of months later, and that brought me to the writing side where I brought my skills as a writer. I started writing for a website called I Slay the Dragon, which led me to Geek and Sundry. I was writing for them, which led me to Becca Scott's show, Game the Game, which eventually led me to other. It's a life changer, Rahdo, and that's why I'll never get rid of it. I can get a copy of it anywhere at a Target, wherever, but this copy, it's got the wear and tear of years. The box is all dinged up. The cards, some of the cards are, might have been like folded a couple of times or, a little trashed or whatever, but that's because it was played so much. And some of I might have spilled a drink on part of the board as well. But I love it. I will never get rid of it because this game and this hobby has literally changed my life in the last 5 years. So this is all about sentimental value. Yeah. Ticket to Ride. Now, having said that, whenever we play the game, we always play the Pennsylvania expansion. We like that one better with the stocks and stuff.
Okay.
But
so all the Ticket to Rides have come out. That's your favorite iteration of it?
That's my favorite iteration. But this one, again, strictly sentimental value, and because it literally changed my life. Ticket to Ride, the base game.
Wow.
I love it. Love it to pieces. And
yeah, that makes
that's
perfect sense. And actually, the most telling thing about that was not that, oh yeah, this was my gateway. This is the game I used to gateway my family.
Yes. Because without them, who am I playing games with? I'm soloing Pandemic for the next 6 months straight, maybe. But because they got excited about the game, they got, we started having the annual Gaviola game night where Lauren, she brought her friends over and I introduced them to a bunch of modern board games. They'd never played Escape. We talked about that during the pre-show. Escape from the Curse of the Temple. That was one of the favorites that we played, and it all started because of Ticket to Ride. That's why it's a game I'll never get rid of.
That makes perfect sense. And you know what? That is very much in keeping with, that was your number 2. My number 1, for many of the same reasons, is Pandemic.
Pandemic, yes.
Of course. Let me see if I can pull it up. And sorry for folks watching that you just had to look at us for half of Ruel's impassioned speech, because I couldn't find. I know I've done a run-through for Ticket to Ride London, but I couldn't find it. Actually, I should say,
okay.
for the record, my favorite way to play Ticket to Ride is those new Express Londons and New Yorks. They're brilliant. They are so good. Well. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about my number 1, Pandemic. And just like you, I mean this Pandemic right here. Yeah. This is the game that I did not know existed. I did not know Modern Designer board games existed. And I walked into Blue Highway Games in Seattle, Washington, and asked them for a copy of Travel Scrabble, because my wife and I were about to take a trip. And I remembered as a child having a copy of Travel Scrabble, the version where you could close it and it kind of saves your progress. Yep. I thought, oh, that'd be great. We'll play that when we're on the road. And the guy took one look and he said, you don't want Scrabble. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your wife. Tell me what your situation is. And I walked out of there with this literal copy. And it's actually full of stuff because pretty much all the original expansions for this are in the box. You can hear my Petri dishes rattling around in there. Yes. And your Ticket to Ride story, everything you said, beat for beat, Pandemic did for me. It instantly converted both me and Jen into board game geeks. We took it on a road trip through France. We were on the road for a week, staying in all kinds of beautiful places. We saw amazing things, but every night we just couldn't wait to get back to our dinky little camper van so we could play another game of this under really crappy fluorescent lights, and we could find a new way to lose. We lost our first 4 games, and I think we lost a different way the first 3 times before we finally got our win, and we realized, oh my God, why didn't we know this existed? And when we got back home, we kept playing it, and then I started looking for other games. And I've actually told this whole story in my top, if you do a search for Rahdo, first 10 games, I broke down. It started with Pandemic and what happened after that. And I had some rough patches. It took me a while to get to where I could identify a game that would or would not work for me and my wife, Jen. And there were some times where like, well, maybe this is a one-off thing. Maybe Pandemic, maybe there's nothing else worth, really seeking out. But this one was so powerful, so impactful for us that I kept going. This can't be the only good game. And so I kept finding more. So not only did this get me started, but it inspired me to keep going. And just like you, my entire life has changed because of that game, because of what Matt Leacock, when he put pencil to paper and came up with a brilliant idea for what is still, as far as I'm concerned, the nearly perfect cooperative game, at least perfect for us. And I will never, ever say goodbye to this, because this little collection of cardboard and wood changed my life and my wife Jen's. You and I would not be here today if it wasn't for Pandemic, and that's why it's my number 1. Phew!
That's fantastic choice. Yeah, wow. It's funny how we both chose as our top game the one that changed our lives as far as our careers and everything else. It is that's what we do here, folks. We talk about the games that mean the most to us, and these are the games that we'll never get rid of. Great list. Great list. And Pandemic was on my top 10 as well. It just
okay. Yeah, because I know, Pandemic is one of your gateways also, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there it is. Our top 10 games that we'll never get rid of.
Cool. Yes. Well, thanks for watching, folks. And don't forget, send that email to contest@raw.com if you were able to spot the moment where Ruel said acrylic, and see if you can win a copy of Keep the heroes out. And we will be doing that drawing not a week from today, or no, a week from right now. Actually, I should say, we will be doing the drawing for that on Tuesday the 23rd at noon. So you have basically until noon on Tuesday, November 23rd, to figure out when we set it, send that name of that game to contest@rahdo.com, and good luck on winning. And Ruel, I think we're all done here.
Yeah, let's move on out of here.
Well, then, in closing, I just want to say thanks once again to my co-hosts. Thanks for everybody watching, and thanks to the sponsor of the show, C4 Games. Again, you can check out these beautiful, beautiful pieces on Kickstarter right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. And we're out. Whew. Okay.
All right. Another great episode.
Yep, actually, I can see why so many people are doing that. Even as I was making the list, I was kind of thinking, man, I haven't have anything interesting to say about this. But it was. I mean, it's really impactful. Although, I don't know, you were not very monetarily inclined. I don't think you had anywhere just, this is too expensive. Well, I guess your crokinole is kind of like that. I was going to ask you how much did you pay for it, but I thought maybe that would be very gauche.
Yeah. And I did have one that didn't make the cut, but it was my copy of Chaos of the Old World World with the expansion. Because those will never be reprinted, and I know those can catch a fair amount of money, but it just didn't quite make the cut. Mainly because it's a game that my family won't play. That's not really their jam. Cool. So I stuck with stuff that I know that for the most part family will play.
Well, we basically ignored the chat for 40 minutes straight. I totally forgot. Norm, we've been trying to have a break in between so we can say hey to everybody. Sorry, I was just so into it. But first of all, let me say, hey, Paula Deming, thank you very much for following. I am a huge fan.
We're all fans of Paula.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Paula.
Everybody loves Paula for good reason. I know. Yeah, her comedy videos are destination viewing. If there's any chance that there is anybody in the chat right now who has not seen Paula's phenomenal YouTube channel, where, I don't know, she probably does like one a month or something like that. Just really engaging, so well filmed. I mean, I can't imagine how much work she puts into those with, the staging, and literally, it's very rarely that you talk about cinematography in board game videos, but I mean, you have to for Paula. She's a consummate professional, and I'm not just saying that because she said ditto, which is very awesome, and I'm getting a little verklempt at the thought of that. Although, I don't know, maybe she's talking about you, Ruel. It probably could be the case.
Oh, Paula's amazing. She's, what's awesome? Like, not only does she do some of the best videos out there, but if you ever get the chance to meet her, she is a wonderful person in real life as well. I've been very fortunate to spend time and get to know her, and just an amazing person. So thanks, Paula, for stopping by. We sort of ignored chat.
I know. I feel bad about it now.
Filming the show. So why don't we catch up a little bit?
Yes, let's do. Although we have a lot of outstanding requests. And also thank you to Open World Addict for the raid that happened about an hour ago too. That's the problem. Us doing our I want to stop and acknowledge all that stuff, but we can only do it after the fact. Although, folks, some of you may know. Here's my favorite thing about Twitch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I vehemently despise about Twitch. There's a few things that are very, very cool, but by far the best thing is every time for years now that I've been doing live run-throughs or live streams. Used to be with my wife, now I do them with you. I did them for a brief time with Tom Bassel. After I'm done, later that day, after I've caught up, I just go back and I watch the live streams at like 4 or 5x speed with the sound off, just so I can see everything that was commented on in case I missed anything interesting, because I think it's interesting. And the cool thing about Twitch is I have found that, that was really interesting, or somebody asked a question and we missed it, or somebody made a really useful observation or whatever, I can whisper to them. Because I can just, you can't do that on YouTube. There is no way to reach out and connect with people. But on Twitch, I've several times after doing the shows whispered to people, thanks so much for that. That's a great idea. I think we're going to try to work that in the future. Stuff like that. And so I'm not promising anything. It's not a competition, but that's one of the really cool things I like. But we have a lot of other outstanding stuff we have to do. Let me get back to the dashboard and see what people have requested.
So we've got some points we need to redeem for all y'all out there. So earlier, if you were here with the pre-show, we did a Ruel Ranks where you can spend some of those Rahdo points, and I will rank a game live here on Twitch. And then there's other things you can do. We also did an impromptu. Someone cashed in a top 3 list. We went with our top 3 Harrison Ford movies, which what did we end up with? It was Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and
Well, I mean,
was it The Fugitive?
we came up with the 5, and really we went with the iconic ones. I had my 3, you
Yeah.
had your 3, but we let the audience vote for the definitive
Oh, that's right.
tops.
Yeah.
And we very strongly disagreed on Raiders of the Lost Ark specifically. I think Ruel still hasn't
Yeah.
quite gotten over that shock.
That is like one of the great films of all time. How can that not be one of Harrison? It's defining, folks.
Okay. Well, okay. So we've got a
but
few
yeah,
more.
so what do we
Let me
have-
just
what
start
else do
going
we have
through
to do
them.
here?
We've got so one of the things people can buy. It's actually our lowest level one is there can be only one, where the audience makes us choose. So Goblin 981 asked. And this one, I think these were both directed at me, but I mean, you could weigh in too. Castles of Burgundy or Legends of Andor. And Goblin, in case you didn't just watch the top 10 we did, I think the answer would be pretty self-evident. As I said, hey, there's one of 5 games which I will never part with, and it was Castles of Burgundy. Spoiler for the list. So yeah, I mean, I love Legends of Andor. But I mean, when I was going through I was doing this thought exercise about stuff I could get rid of, I realized, yeah, I could lose Andor. I really love it. I think it's brilliant. But if it didn't make it out in the fire, I don't know if I'd seek it out again. I really love it. But we have finished the storyline, and we have played Mission 3 of Andor probably a dozen times. And it's been years since Cosmos has. I mean, they keep releasing stuff in German, and it's been a long time since they brought any of it out in English. So I mean, I've done my time with Andor. I'm still happy to own it. I would still happily play it, but it is, it's nothing to Burgundy. And then the other one was Nazgoth asked, what was it? Where is it? Okay, Roll for the Galaxy versus Nations. And again, spoiler alert, if you just watch the video, Roll for the Galaxy made this is one of the 5 games I will never get rid of. Nations did not. I love Nations. Yeah. Nations would, the list it would make right off the bat is, actually it did. We did a top 10 games I want to play right now a few months ago, didn't we? And I think Nations was on my list. Yeah. I really want to play it. It's like, I so want to play it so badly. But again, if the house is on fire, even though it's in my top 10 games, just in terms of how much fun I have, it's not in terms of how important it is to me. So yeah, that was a pretty easy one. So those were a couple of easy ones. We have 2 requests for trivia. Goblin and Bjorn the Bold. So we're going to have 2 trivia sequences coming at you now, folks, which means I haven't done it for a while. I got to dust off the wheel.
The old trivia, the wheel of trivia. Here we go.
Here we go. All right, so I pop it up, and then, oddly, I have no controls in OBS to actually manipulate it, so I have to go to Streamlabs. But let's see if I've still got the thing. By the way, you will notice, last time we did this, there were 4 entries. There was Game Trivia, General Trivia, Ruel Trivia, and Rahdo Trivia. And I thought that was being a little too easy on us, giving us 50% chance. So I just combined. There's now just a General Trivia, which could be Game Trivia, or it could be one of us. The last one was something, I don't even remember what I did. What did I talk about? Because everybody loved it.
It was a great story you talked about. Now, what was it? Oh my gosh.
I guess it couldn't have been that great, but maybe it's going to be...
No, it was fantastic. You dove deep on it. What was it? Folks, come on. People in chat, you got to remember this. Why don't I remember this?
Somebody says the boat house. Was it...
Yes.
Was it about...
How you grew up on a boat, and then you eventually tracked down the actual boat.
Oh, right, yes, and how my childhood boat
you want to take your mom
is now an Airbnb, and I'm pretty sure it's in New Zealand. Yeah. Well, let's see if you can beat that. But let's see if who's going to have to give some trivia, because we're spinning. We are spinning. Oh, Ruel needs to tell us a little something.
Oh, okay.
It's story time with Ruel. Ruel, any trivia about you think that is as good as, if not better, than my finding my childhood home as an Airbnb in New Zealand halfway around the world story? Go!
Here, let's see.
I will hide the wheel so everybody can see you.
Thank you. And a shout out to Sir Bearsworth. Hello, what it do, baby boos? Good to see you here, friend. Here's a bit of trivia. Did you know that I was in the Guinness Book of World Records?
Wow.
At one. Yeah. Actually, Michelle and I were. It was probably at least 7 or 8 years ago. So Michelle and I, we're big Yelpers. We use the app Yelp. We love to go out and eat and, make friends that way. And we became Yelp Elite, right? Which is like it's like basically a Twitch affiliate, but for Yelpers.
Oh, wow.
So we got invited to a bunch of like private events and stuff. And one of the events we got to be part of was at the Santa Anita racetrack. Here in Arcadia, California. It's where, the horses run. They've been running there for many, many decades. It's one of the best racetracks in the nation. And we went there because they were having, at the races, they had a Yelp event where we were going to break the world record for largest beer tasting. And at the time, I think the beer tasting record was maybe like 250 people, and we showed up as Yelpers. There was like over 400 of us. There was someone from the Guinness Book of World Records to make sure that they did a head count. And to make it count for the beer tasting, we had to sample at least 3 beers. So we all took samples of 3 beers at the same time. They took photos, and we broke the record. We were in the Guinness Book of World Record, and we lasted, I think, like 1 month. And then someone in Germany.
That is literally, like, I was going to crack a joke about, what, yeah. 400? That's like an average Tuesday down at the local beer garden in, right. You know, in any major German city. So.
Yeah. So this was specifically like a beer tasting, right? That was the event. It had to be a beer tasting rather than just a bunch of people pounding beers. So yeah, for that 1 month of time, we were in the Guinness Book of World Records. And there's your fun fact about me.
All
folks.
right, that's a good one.
Bit of Ruel Trivia here on the R&R Show.
That's a good one, but we're not done because 2 requests for these came in. So let me go on ahead and bring the wheel back, and let me go back to the screen and spin it again. Right, where we, that's the wrong screen. Come over to the Streamlabs OBS screen, wait for it to load, hit the, now I gotta go back into a widgets. I don't remember what page I was on, silly goose. All righty. Silly goose is a thing I say. There's some trivia. All right, spin a wheel. Come on, Ruel. Come on, Ruel.
Bring it.
All right, time for some more Rahdo trivia. I literally have an entire text file full of dozens of game trivia stuff that I thought was genuinely interesting, but that doesn't seem to be happening. All right, what is an interesting bit of trivia? Okay. And you think I'd be prepared for this, but this is the one thing I didn't prepare for because I figure I can just come up with. I mean, interesting things have happened to me in my life. Right.
Love the boat story.
Yeah. And now I feel like I started the bar too high. Let's see. Okay, this is a simple one. Ruel, how many times would you think I have broken my arms in my life?
Oh, wow. At least once.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would have been some bad trivia if I said I've never broken a bone. I guess that is trivia, though.
Yeah, right. I'll say you've broken your arms twice, one each, one left, one right.
Big 3. 3 times I have broken my limbs, all as a young, precocious child, in 2 different ways, because it was 2 events. The first one, I was in grade school, probably 6 or 7, and at Knights Landing, California, the school I went to, for some reason, they had in the playground these gigantic, they must have been 6 or 7 feet tall, which to me as a 6-year-old was still pretty gigantic, just concrete tubes, portions of tubes that are used for like sewage transfer, they were gigantic. And there was no safety about them at all, and kids, we would just climb on them and hang out on top of them, and they were impossible to climb up on because they were literally just a big gigantic circle, and there was no ladder or anything. So one kid would have to get up, and they'd have to pull up, and then we would just hang out there for recess. And I was up on one of them, and I think I've always been tall for my age, so I was like one of the leads to get up on these things and pull other kids up. And I wasn't pushed or anything. I was just too close to the edge, and I was dumb, and I just fell off, and I landed. I still remember right here on my left arm, shattered the arm somewhere right in here. And I ended up getting a cast and a sling, and I don't remember how many months that was. And so, but no big deal. And you'd think I'd learn. You think at 6 years old, that's a once bitten, twice shy kind of situation. Don't hang out too close to the edge, because if you fall off, it freaking hurts. But no. Fast forward, not even a year later, I'm at our house. We have a front porch, which has steps going up to the front door of the porch, and there was like a railing. There was probably it was a 2x4. And for some reason, I just thought it was cool to get on the 2x4 and just lean back. And I was much smaller then, so a 2x4 was literally almost half my body width, or give or take. And so I'm just leaning back, just watching the world go by. And again, I lose my balance and just fall. Again, it must have been like another 6 feet. This time, though, I've got experience. So what do? I put both arms out in front of me to break the fall.
Oh my!
What does that do? Snap! both wrists, all the way back. Boom. And now I very clearly remember this, although nobody else in my family remembers this. I, of course, was crying. My mom and my dad and my brother, we all just got into the car. We had a long drive to the nearest hospital. There was no time for ambulance and stuff like that. And I'm crying in the back seat. And at one point, I so clearly remember this, my brother saying, "Could you just shut up?" And I don't remember what my parents thought about that. My dad was running red lights and all kinds of stuff because it was really bad. And so that one, I had 2 casts, full-on casts for months. They itched nonstop, but they were completely covered with signatures and all of that. So 3 times I have broken bones, and I haven't since. So apparently, it only takes 3 bones broken before I learn my lesson and don't just relax on precarious edges because I'm clumsy. So there we go.
The wrist one sounds so awful to me. That sounds...
it was bad. It was very, very bad. Oh, my gosh. Although, really, the thing I remember most...
I want to thank Luzapalooza for the raid, by the way. Luzapalooza, David Ilka just raided. Thank you so much for the raid. Good to see y'all here. Folks, check out their channel. They're amazingly talented folk
and incredible singers.
I love the fact...
Incredible singers.
Yeah, and I was just going to bring that up. Usually towards the end of their broadcast, they sing a couple of songs, Dave on the guitar, and oh my gosh, absolutely love them. So thank you for the raid.
Yeah, no, I remember Dave, I think he was doing a duet, some kind of duet Twitch thing with Paula, if I recall correctly. Where they each recorded their own half of the song, and then they put the whole thing together, and it was awesome. Paula was really cool, and I didn't really know Dave was a singer at all. I thought, he's going to be the funny or the silly one. And it's like, no, he totally belted it out and floored me. I was absolutely amazed. Well, thank you for the raid, Lulz, or Luzapalooza. For new folks here, hey, thanks for the likes and the subscribes and the follows and all of that. One of the things, if you watch, that you can spend your Rahdo points on is getting me and Ruel to do various and sundry things. You just jumped in the middle of one. Okay, we just finished the 2 trivial requests. Right, mark as complete. Okay, marked as complete. We have one more. Somebody, Zetarek, would like to buy an argument. But here's the deal. I'm wondering if we should save that for next week, and we can do it in the pre-show, because we haven't done any Q&A, and I knew you want to get out of here by 2. So, folks.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. It is Q&A time. You give us Q's, we will give you A's, and I will start out with a question for Ruel. Hey, Ruel, what are your top 5 science fiction games? Because you didn't get a chance to tell everybody. And so, folks, while Ruel is regaling us with 5 quick sci-fi games, start asking some questions.
Yeah, type in those questions, folks. We'll get to those in a second. Also, by the way, if you're a new viewer here, again, welcome. And if you have a Prime subscription, an Amazon Prime subscription, you're allowed 1 free sub every month to a Twitch channel. Why not use it here? We'd love it.
Look at this guy, the professional. Thank you for reminding me. I actually installed a plugin on Twitch. If you just hover your mouse over the Twitch screen, if you're on a computer, not on a phone, I guess, a little crown icon will appear on the right side of the video. If you click that, it'll tell you if you can use your Prime, Amazon Prime subscription to basically show some support for the show and get us 1 step closer to unlocking another RVR episode.
Yeah, and look at that. Arrogant Meeple literally just subscribed with Prime right now. Thank you, Arrogant Meeple.
Showing us how it's done. Awesome. Thank you, Arrogant.
Okay. So, top 5 sci-fi games. So, obviously, you know my number 1. It's just like Shay. It's Twilight Imperium, 4th edition. My number 2, so I'm going backwards. I'm going 1 through 5. I want to do them this way. My number 2, Star Wars Rebellion.
Ooh, okay.
As a Star Wars fan, it is the best Star Wars game out there. I love it can be played by 4, but it really is a 2-player game. Empire versus Rebellion. You're trying to hide as the rebels, and as the Empire, you're trying to find them. All kinds of great stuff happens. You have all the classic characters. I love it to death. My number 3, I'm sort of stretching it here. Sci-fi Baseball Highlights 2045.
No, that is totally a sci-fi game. I think that's game, right? Totally legit.
Yeah, even though it's more of a baseball game, it is set in the future. You have your cyborgs, robots. I love it. It's a fantastic deck building game. Hey, number 4, you just talked about this on our previous list, Roll for the Galaxy. That's one of my favorite sci-fi games. And my number 5 sci-fi game, Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Ooh,
I think that's a wonderful small footprint of a game, but big time gameplay. I love chucking dice, and this is one of my favorite dice checkers, Tiny Epic Galaxies. Those are my top 5 games.
All right,
folks.
Well, that was my question. Now, Goblin wonders, what's a game that we like, but would prefer if it had a different theme, and what theme?
Oh,
that's hard.
Oh, I was just wondering that Shadowrun Crossfire. Would you appreciate that with a different?
That
theme?
is an interesting thing. I would appreciate with a different theme. The publishers did give us a different theme, one that I literally requested when I originally covered it. They put it in the literal Dungeon and Dragons universe because it was called Dragon. It's literally somewhere on a shelf right behind me. I don't know exactly where. Dungeons and Dragons. I want to say Dragonholt, but that's not. That's like the totally different. That's a Nikki Valens story game.
Yeah.
Dragonfire. Dragon instead of Crossfire, it was Dragonfire, and that was exactly what I wanted. But the problem was they changed the rules. They changed quite a few of the rules. And if they would have just done a straight 1-for-1, that would have been fantastic. I would have been happier. And I still like Dragonfire. I still have it. But while Shadowrun Crossfire is in my top 10 of all times, Dragonfire is a very, very good game. But it's like in the low 8s for me. But thank you. You've given me an answer. Now you come up with one. Do it for both of us.
Wow, that's that is a tough question. Wow, what game would I pick with different theme?
Yep. Well, simple thing is just put Star Wars on something and you'll be happy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, pick any game, put Star Wars. I'm happy. Make any adventure game, make it a sci-fi. Like I enjoyed Clank, right? And then when they did Clank in Space, I like Clank in Space better. That's I'm pretty easy guy to satisfy folks. Gosh, yeah. I don't know if the games that I keep in my library here. I'm just looking behind me here. The themes I enjoy. You know what? I don't know. This is a tough question, folks. Y'all are bringing it. This is brutal.
It is.
I'm gonna look here. Wow. Why not Machikoro? I don't know. Machikoro.
So Machikoro.
How can we retheme Machikoro? I like it. I don't. The theme doesn't really speak to me that much. But how can we retheme that? Throw it in space.
Yeah, oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Oopsie. Machikoro, what do you call it? Machikoro Mos Eisley.
There you go. Yeah, I'm all in. Let's build a bar in Mos Eisley, scum and villainy.
I can definitely say that would get a lot more of my interest and attention. Machikoro Mos Eisley. With the Machikoro in a really tiny little font. Mos Eisley.
Mos Eisley Machikoro.
The more I think about it, the more I think that's really freaking awesome. And somebody needs to get Pandasaurus on the phone.
Exactly. Let's talk to him. And someone Dutch Yoda just talked about Dice Throne Star Wars. I am all in on that. They just came out with the Dice Throne Marvel. They just announced that. Oh, throw Star Wars in there, folks. Oh my goodness.
That is a great idea. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Next up.
Okay.
What is a board game mechanism or thing that you're surprised that no other game uses? That's from Sir Bearsworth.
Ooh.
All right.
Sir Bearsworth.
Let's see.
Wow.
Something that's like
These
one
are great
of a
questions,
kind
folks.
That nobody else has done. Let's see. It feels like everything gets done and redone and redone. And you were saying earlier that Board Game Geek was down. I have tried now 3 times to look at my rank.rahdo.com on Board Game Geek, and it's failing. Is Board Game Geek down for anybody else?
Okay. It was down for me earlier, and I know some people in chat were talking about that, and I'm going there right now. No, it's... Oh. Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
For me. Okay.
Well, that's...
Wow, this is
well. Then you come up with one. Because I have to physically look around at my wall and think of something.
No other games use. I'm going to look here as well.
But you actually have Board Game Geek. You can look at your collection.
Oh yeah, I can. Here, I'll press that button. Collection.
There you go. You've got it easy. I have to work.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what are I mean, I'm looking at these things like, oh, okay. Here. The game Strike, the one where you roll the dice in the arena.
No, I don't know.
And Strike. It's a really light game. I love it. It's a family weight game. You're rolling dice in a little arena, and then if they match, you take them out.
Oh, I do know it. Okay, yes, I know. And the arena is like it's kind of like they use the board insert. It's like a pit you're throwing stuff into. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah. So that whole where you can throw the dice and try to hit them in order for them to go to the size that you want. I don't know. Do games use that mechanism? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like there's been Strike spin-offs. Isn't there a Star Wars Strike game now that I think about it?
There's a Harry Potter.
So yeah. But still, that's the same game. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun one.
Wow, this is a great question. I don't
Here's the
know.
first one. I'm just going for my top 10. I don't believe anybody to this day, even though the game came out in 2012, why has nobody revisited the Keyflower idea of a worker placement game where your workers are also monetary units that you use in an auction to buy worker placement spaces? That's
Yeah,
freaking
that's
brilliant. And I don't believe
no one else
anybody,
does
and
it.
there's a million different things you could do. It's not like you'd have to just like make a ripoff of Keyflower, but just starting with that
Right.
idea, that could go in a million different directions. Why has nobody taken that idea and run with it? Maybe somebody in the chat will actually say, well, actually, here's the 5 games that have done that, because I don't have a
Yeah, here's
brain to
5 games
remember
that you
such
did
things.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, these are fantastic questions. Any other questions we got
Yep.
here?
I'm catching up. Everybody's saying Dragonfire, Dragonfire. Hey, idiot, it's Dragonfire. Have you heard of it? Dragonfire,
Dragonfire.
like
Okay.
Crossfire? Oh, sorry. Yes. I got there in the end, folks. My brain. Let's see. What else? So, I don't know if you see any questions. I'm just trying to catch up because the scroll had
Yeah.
paused. But I think everybody was so enthralled with those questions that I think
Yeah.
we're done. I think we're gonna
Okay.
call it a day right there. Because we're in
Yeah.
we're
Well,
in
here,
and out at
final
2
question
hours.
from our friend Slivers.
Good pre-show.
Final quick question from friend Slivers: cake or pie?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well.
I'm.
Come on. It's pie.
It's
Is it pie?
It's
Who's
gotta be.
who? In what world is it cake?
Yeah, I enjoy cake. I love pie. That's what it comes
You know
down
what?
to. Yeah, pie.
I'll give a
Pie is the
nod.
correct
What
answer.
is cheesecake? It exists
Oh.
in the netherworld between cake and pie. Is it more pie
Yeah.
than cake? But it's called a cake. Nobody calls it cheese pie because that sounds gross.
Yeah. And it's more pie-ish.
Yeah. You know, with the same kind of pie crust with a
Right.
filling. You know, and you have cream cheese. You like have cream, a banana cream pie. A cheesecake is
banana
closer to a
cream
banana
pie.
cream pie than it is to a chocolate cake. And yet, but yeah. Oh, and and Arrogant Meeple points out a Boston cream pie apparently is officially a cake. That I do not know. Although, actually,
Is it really?
to me, the question is immaterial because the true answer is ice cream cake,
Oh,
which
yeah. Ice cream cake.
supplants all.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. There it is, folks. The hard-hitting
Yes.
questions we
Yeah, we definitely
The
ended
one
on the questions that try our times.
Yes.
Okay, folks, we are done. And I think we made it. I think we didn't mess up. And I apologize profusely. I was so excited about Executive Decision. I'm totally going to go out, and I think I'm just going to cut that out, and I'll put a text thing on screen saying, at this point, Rahdo really spoiled the hell out of a 20-year-old movie. Go watch on Twitch if you want to see that, and or something like that, because that wasn't cool. Apologies. But you have anything in closing you'd like to say before we move on with our lives?
Again, it's good to be back. Taking the week off, which I needed. I want to thank you all for giving me that time to do my thing, and another fun week, friend. I'm looking forward to next week, and I'm really looking forward to the time when we get to do our game together, Rolling Realms.
Oh yes.
Since we unlocked that goal, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yep. And how close are we to another one? 64 subscribers, so we are making good time. I expect at the rate we're going, we will have unlocked this top 10 thing and the another RVR probably by the end of the year, which is fine.
Yeah,
because it's not like I'm trying to drown us in work. I mean, they shouldn't become too terribly common. It makes them more special. A long ways away from unlocking an 8th run through. Basically, for folks who don't know, hey, what's that third line on the goals? It's basically, I will do a traditional Rahdo runs through here live, streamed on Twitch. Folks will get to see the behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff when I get to a combined $99. We're at $5 in actual tips, which you can do at tips.rahdo.com, and we are at 302 bits. So we're basically $8 towards our 99 goal. So that's a ways off. Okay. I look forward to doing it. I don't know quite what a live streamed run through will be. We'll figure it out when we get there. But I think we're done, man. And I got to go turn this into a podcast, and I got to do some editing, and you've got to go and have a very good day. So we should raid. It is time to raid.
Oh yeah, who are we gonna
raid? Okay.
Let's see
contributor to the show, this is a Sophie's Choice situation here. Becca Scott is streaming on Good Time Society, and so is Ryan Crichton of Nights Around a Table.
Oh.
And Ryan, he's a member of the Rahdo family, and as much as I have repeatedly expressed my deep, abiding love for all things Becca Scott, Ryan's, again, right? It's all about family, and also I solve my problems a quarter mile at a time, or whatever. I cannot think of any Fast and Furious quotes. So I think, folks, we are going to raid Ryan. Hopefully, I will not fail. And I definitely suggest checking him out, because if you enjoyed us, you are going to enjoy Ryan. He is just, I think he's incredibly funny, a really witty guy, and I would love to see more of it. Oh, and it looks like he is playing some Glass Road. He's playing with his wife again. I can't believe he talked her into it. So you will have some good time with them. Let's see if I can get this raid going. All right, it's accumulating people. People are accumulated, and it looks like we're going to make the move. There's a countdown? What is this countdown? Okay, I hit the raid now button. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and follow through this raid. Say hey to Ryan for us, and if you do it, you'll get more Rahdo points so you can make us do more stuff. See you next week, folks. Bye-bye. And did it work? There were no errors. Rahdo is raiding with a party of 66. Oh, that is terrible. I feel so terrible. Becca raided us, I think, 2 weeks ago, and I solely should have returned the favor.
We'll return it next time. No worries.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. It looks like we're there. Okay, cool.
And you know what? Actually, here's the thing I realized. We're still streaming. If anybody goes to twitch.tv/RahdoRunster right now, we're still live.
We are live,
the entire audience just disappeared, and so we should say goodbye too, because 2 weeks ago when we were having all the problems, we stayed on and just kept talking for like 5 minutes, and all that stuff is up there.
Oh.
And fortunately, we didn't say anything bad. But we were about to say some stuff, and it's a good thing we got out. So I think, folks, if somehow you're still here, bye. Bye-bye. Where's the button? There's the button.
Bye-bye.